Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so, yeah.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so I'm Bazly. I'm going to be running Link to the Past Randomizer.
And I'm Davey222. I'm just here for the support.
He's running Copilot. For those of you who don't know...
Lastly, we're just going to move the mic a little bit higher to your, just so it's in the mouth level.
Sure.
There you go.
Thank you.
Perfect.
That's the audio.
So for those of you who don't know, Link to the Past Randomizer, it takes a Link to the Past ROM and it shuffles the item locations in a way where the game can still be completed. And so it becomes a game of figuring out how to get all the items as quickly as possible that you need to finish the game. So we're going to be running what is called open mode, and that kind of bypasses the opening sequence of waking up in Link's house and having to go rescue Zelda from the first dungeon of the game. There are still items there, so we'll probably have to go back in there and get them regardless. Yeah, so I'm just going to get started. We're going to start off with a sort of a standard opening for... Yes. That's fine. So what Fleck was just asking was, I'm one of the art development team leaders for Randomizer, and so I develop sprites. I also have to give final approval of sprites before they're added to the randomizer. We were going to use one that I made. This is not one of them, but it's fine. This was based on one that I made. I made the Dark Link sprite. This is called Dark Swatchy, which is kind of a joke of the art developers. So it was made. It was made for testing purposes, but then we decided to add it in, and then we made the dark version after Dark Link. So it's still kind of, I was involved.
Nothing better than an inside joke, you know?
Yeah. So we're going to do, like I said, kind of a typical opening. We're starting off at Link's house. I have a big enter button to start the timer, which is very exciting.
It's so cool.
And we're going to do something called the tree pull, which I'm going to start explaining the second I start. What?
Show the button.
Oh, do you want to see? Oh, they are showing the button. Let me move the camera. So I'm going to go. Hopefully, I can press this hard enough.
Great.
Yes.
Woo! That was the hardest part of the whole run.
In Link to the Past, there are tree trunks that you can pull, and items will come out. And the way that works is it's based on how many enemies you have killed and whether or not you've taken damage. So, but in Randomizer, what items come out are, well, randomized. So we're going to kill an enemy so that we can see what our first tree pull is.
Really? They're randomized? You didn't tell me that.
And we just got arrows. Now, we were hoping for bombs or rupees, but we'll have some more opportunities. Our next goal is going to be, after we save and quit out of here, after grabbing 2 items, we're going to want to kill 4 enemies and get a different tree pull and hope that it's bombs or rupees, because at the beginning, that's what you really want. There's a lot of walls that you have to bomb right away. Bombs are kind of the base item that start getting you around and getting you some inventory. Now, we have no weapons, so we kind of have to tank damage from these guys, what happens, and we've got flippers.
Ooh, the flippy flips.
Okay, so we're going to save and quit out. If I had found a weapon, I might have gone into the first dungeon, but I didn't have one, so there would be no point. So we're going to go to Sanctuary. As I mentioned earlier, Zelda's here safe and sound. But there are still items down in the dungeon where we would have rescued her from.
Which you have to go back to later, right?
Yeah. And this is a little bit clumsy because, again, we don't have a weapon, and we want to kill 4 enemies before pulling our next tree. So these are going to be our victims.
Which, of course, can be killed by throwing clumps of grass at them, because Zelda...
Wow, they are very persistent today. Okay, come on. There we go. 2.
I do like the realism that a sign does more damage to them, though, than just a clump of grass.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Right?
And so our 4th is going to be this pickle up here. Oh, or I could miss
or
it.
Not.
Or I could miss it entirely.
Or not.
Great. Wonderful.
What are we going to try and kill next, Baz?
Well, that counts as a kill. Oh, never mind. He's dropping 8 bombs. That's all we need. Okay. Now he just needs to get out of my way. So that I can see. So this is called Lumberjack Cave. If there is a required item here, then we have to do an extra dungeon. No, it's just red rupees, so we're good.
Red rupee is the best rupee, I'll have you know.
So there's an extra dungeon, Hyrule Castle Tower, which is needed to be completed before you can access that item, but it's just a red rupee. We don't need that, so we're going to continue on our way with all of our bombs that we got, which was very lucky because I missed that kill so dramatically.
I mean, it was great, though.
Oh, okay. So we've got 2 item locations to check here. Oh, yeah, we want money. We really want money at the beginning.
Link's got to get in the 1%, man.
Not with the flippers. Oh, well.
I saw you trying to walk around that.
I mean, so boomerang is something that you might have skipped, but we still don't have a weapon. So boomerang and bombs could be useful at the beginning if we don't find anything else. You never know how long it's going to take to find a sword. And so for the beginning here, we don't have too much tricky stuff to do. We're kind of just running through Kakariko Village, picking up items as we go. There's a lot of item locations to start off with. Hopefully, Randomizer is interesting because there's only so much that you can plan to talk about ahead of time because it's kind of dependent on what items you find. So we're hoping to find something that will indicate where we're supposed to go first.
Yeah. Personally, I like to think of this way as like the kind of the Costco lunch, because you're basically just running around picking up a bunch of free stuff, the same way that you would grab samples in
flute.
Costco, right?
So flute is great. We're gonna activate the
and boots?
Okay, sure.
Okay,
And
well,
a shield. Nice.
the game was like, you're going too slow. Here's some boots.
Now we have boots. We can run around everywhere and bump into a lot of walls. I'm gonna grab these
A
rubies
single
too.
arrow.
Single arrow is very important. Is a very important item.
Oh yeah, the bonk guesses. We're doing that, eh?
Oh, of course. Don't get ahead of yourself, Dave. That's for the end.
Tom says it's rigged.
So the other thing we're looking for early on is Dark World access. We want the items that we need to get to the Dark World, which are either Hammer, Power Glove, and the Moon Pearl, or the Moon Pearl and Titan's Mitch, which is the 2nd level glove for lifting even bigger rocks. So far, we have not found those.
That's okay. We've still got like what, half the Costco
There's a lot of light worlds still open to us right now. We're gonna pay the bottle vendor. More bombs.
So this is the latest version of Randomizer, right?
This is, and version 29 is on the horizon.
Oh, really?
Yes. We don't have an exact date because I'm just in the art department. They don't tell us that kind of stuff. Oh, I bombed myself.
Oh, wow. But you got the chicken clip.
I did get the chicken clip.
So that's the most important
He didn't
part.
come all the way into the room, unfortunately.
Oh, that's true.
It wasn't my best chicken clip. Now,
There-
that doesn't actually help you at all, but any rando runner will tell you that getting that chicken through that wall is the most important thing
Yeah, it
in
really
a rando
is.
run.
I particularly liked your practice last night where you chicken clipped it so hard it went into the other room and then blocked you from getting the chest.
Yeah, I had to move the chicken. I knocked him so far into the room he got in my way. We didn't find a bottle yet. No, we didn't. Okay. So we cannot go. There's another item location there from a character we call Sick Kid, but you have to have a bottle before he gives you an item. Really, Wall? Really? Okay.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be an entrance rando.
Now we have... Oh, hello, Mirror. So we're going to need that.
Oh, look, I don't have to remind you of the library shelf anymore.
You don't. I already have the boots.
Because you already got it. Well, there you go.
Anyone who has seen me play this game knows that I will always forget what item was sitting on the library.
Like clockwork.
Every time.
That's okay, though. It adds to the
didn't.
charm.
That's true. I did not activate the flute yet, though. But it's a good thing we have boots. We're going to run back up and do that.
Oh, you forgot to do the flute.
I'm sure someone in chat is yelling at me about that. Feel free to inform me who.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, no one's yelling at you
Okay,
about that.
fair.
Ty's a little sad that there's no pink link. Hom says it's rigged.
Of course. Yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
there
Thank
you
for
go.
standing.
Thank you for standing through that.
Flute
Well
is
done.
good though because we can fly to our next location instead of saving and quitting, which technically is a little bit faster. There we go.
Bagu said, who made this seed, and then followed the hashtag blame Bazly.
Now, yeah, I have some friends who decided that since my name is in the credits, even though it's under sprite development and I have nothing to do with coding this game,
Obviously, it's your fault, right?
if they get bad seeds, it's my fault. So
course.
if rando's ever mean to you, apparently you can blame me. Now we're actually going to take our boomerang and our bombs and escape. So this is normally the first dungeon. This is where you come to rescue Zelda at the beginning. But we've got a bunch of items sitting in here because we never had to do it.
So instead of rescuing Zelda, we're literally going to loot.
Yes.
We're going to loot the place down.
And the boomerangs can be very helpful here. Okay.
Did you actually use the boomerang?
I did.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen someone use the boomerang in Rando for
Yeah.
anything other than hitting a switch.
You usually end up with something more useful. Now, I wasn't quite paying attention to what my stun drop was, but that's another mechanic that's worth knowing. When you stun enemies in Link to the Past, in the vanilla game, they will always drop a green rupee when you kill them. In Randomizer, that also gets shuffled. So, I'll pay more attention to this next kill and see what my drop was. I think it actually was a green rupee, which is not very useful. You hope for something better than that.
I'll be honest, I was more concentrating on being quippy than actually paying attention.
It is
oh, look
green
at
rupees,
that.
yeah. So vanilla stun drop, not very useful for us.
But of course you can grab another one. Oh no, that was a key. Never mind. My
Well,
bad.
yeah, that guard will always drop a key. We need it for this door. And so, yeah, that's worth noting. When you're in dungeons, the dungeon items themselves that you would normally get out of chests, such as the map, the big key, the compass, and small keys in chests, will also get shuffled. The ones that drop off of enemies or are under pots will always be still in the same place.
Oh, so that's why you see people always going for the same pots and stuff when they need like full magic or what have you.
Now, thankfully, we can kill this guy with pots because I have nothing to kill him with otherwise. He does not stay stunned from the boomerang very long at all.
You've got bombs. You can just put them all around him.
Mirror. So we're going to attempt a dark room without a sword or a lamp. Normally, you would need a lamp to see in this room. I do know my way through it, but usually you would have something to guide you.
Get ready for some pro strats, guys.
So I'm going to attempt to have the boomerang guide me, which is
What?
not very easy. So you don't get to see much right now.
I'm sure this is very thrilling.
It's very exciting. Okay, I'm down the right hallway, and I went down the stairs. I can hear it.
Okay.
Oh boy. This room is fun because it's just full of snakes trying to kill you.
Amazing, really.
Nope. Okay, stairs. Got it.
Boomerang vision, says Val.
And we're going to make our... Okay, that was the vat. And I think that's the chest. Or is that a wall?
That could be a wall.
Come on. It's here somewhere. If we can't find it fast enough, I will just get out of here. Gotcha.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Whoa!
Red cane. That's
Well done.
a very often required item.
Well done.
Okay, so since we did the front of Escape Route, there's 3 more chests in the back that we're going to grab. Technically, if I had found a small key, I could have gotten through there, maybe, but that would have been more dark rooms. But there is this way in the back, and there's no dark rooms back here, so...
So no more running around in the dark with...
No more running around in the dark, at least for now. The lamp can be hidden very far into the game. And so I should also note that the randomizer programming, it will never expect you to actually do a dark room like I just did. It always assumes that you can get the lamp somewhere first. Nothing. But it can definitely make things faster if you can just do those rooms while you're in them, as opposed to having to come back later with the lamp.
Yeah.
So we're going to hop down to South Hyrule. Various more free item checks.
So we're continuing the Costco lunch.
Yes.
And hopefully somewhere get a sword.
Yes, very hopefully. Although, I can make it pretty far without that. Maybe. If we find hammer or bow soon. Oh.
Oh, no. Rip.
Come on. I tried to delete that block. There we go.
There we
Hey, a
go.
sword.
Oh, there we are.
Wonderful.
I was so about to just spurn you for it if you failed it
Again, yeah.
again.
So what I just did, by the way, with that block was when blocks are moving, at least in the original Japanese 1.0 version of this game, when blocks are moving, technically speaking, this is a very clumsy explanation, but technically speaking, they don't exist while they're moving. And so if you force the game to try and do something else, such as use the mirror in a place where you can't use the mirror, the game gets confused and it just doesn't regenerate the block. It just gives up. And so that's how you delete the block. It's also handy because you can shoot things through blocks while they're moving. So we might have to do that with the hook shot or the fire rod later.
Right, so that's how the hook shot thing works.
Yeah. And that's just kind of taking advantage of those moments. Ooh, fire rod.
Fire rod. Best rupee. A new heart. More arrows. Obviously the most important thing we got out of here.
Well, we needed fire rod at least, so we're good. Now I don't have... Oh, I have flippers.
Yeah, you do. You
forgot
don't
I got
have to fake them.
I don't have to fake them. If I didn't have flippers or moon pearl, I would normally kind of skip all of this part.
But I mean, you can almost
do
go
it
up to
later.
Zora at this point, right?
Yeah, I just need 40 more rupees.
31.
Because even if you have... because even if you... Yeah, sure. You do the math. I'll just play the game. What was it talking about? If you have the moon pearl, you can convince the game... With or without Moon Pearl, you can convince the game that you have flippers down in this area by doing some glitches. And if you have the Moon Pearl, you can get into a cave that normally you have to swim into. But I have flippers anyway, so I don't need to do that.
Oh, are you going to Jesus walk? Oh, wait, you
No,
don't have to
I don't
because you
have
have
to.
the flippers.
Yeah. So no walking on water today. Normally, if I didn't have flippers or Moon Pearl, I probably would have come back here later and gone to some other item locations instead. But this is convenient enough since I found the flippers pretty much right away.
Convenient is something you don't often hear. And
Never hear that when you're doing randomizer runs. Nothing's ever conveniently laid out.
I'm still waiting for a double dip. Like, really, I'm hoping that it's going to be a pedestal C double dip. Bow locked somewhere.
Yeah,
Still
Dave,
don't have the bow.
Dave wants the Trollia seeds so that we're here for 3 hours.
I do. Well, maybe not.
People
3
organizing
hours.
do not want that. Okay, so just one meets little item location here. It's very annoying because it's so far out of the way, but at least we're getting it done now. There isn't even anything here in the Dark World, so it's not like you can come back later and just mirror in. You would only ever come here for that one item. And when it's something you need, that'll be the one time you skip it.
Exactly.
Because that's also how randomizer runs work. The day you decide I can skip that location is exactly when the item you need is
Oh,
there.
the number of times I've heard Asper say he's not going to go somewhere, and then it turns out to be Fire Rod or what have you.
Oh
yeah. We're going to have some donation announcements while I check
All
these
right,
last few
so
spots.
we just got $20 from Irmi Lazar. Hey guys, hey, thanks for the donation. Where's
Woo, thanks.
Awesome, thank you.
And we just got Moon Pearl, so we are 2/3 of the way to our Dark World access. So earlier I mentioned Hyrule Castle Tower, a dungeon that you hope to never have to do in Randomizer. If we can't find Dark World access in the Light World otherwise, then we will have to do that dungeon. That would be our only Dark World access. We're really hoping that that doesn't happen.
Oh,
Or,
wait, that's
sorry,
Sega, isn't it?
Dave is hoping that that happens. I'm really hoping that that doesn't happen.
I mean...
But we still have quite a few locations we can check.
Yes! Yes!
Okay.
Pay 500 and just get one back. I
The
love it.
ultimate ripoff.
I love it. The organizers are probably just sitting there being all like, yes, you did it. Excellent.
Okay. Oh, nope. Almost got hit by him. So now we're going to head over to Eastern Palace, which is normally your, I guess technically, second dungeon in the game. We are going to go into it and check for some item locations. You would need the bow to complete it, which we do not have. Let's see if I can. Oh, nice.
Oh, hey.
So what I just did, I wasn't sure if I was going to actually be able to do it.
Gotta go fast.
I also have never played this on played Randomizer on console before, so this is a first happening right now. What I just did was a glitch where, as you're doing a sword spin, you quickly tap the boots. So Hospital is going to tell us where the green pendant is, and he says it's in Desert Palace. Okay.
Okay. But does that doesn't mean that you have to go to
It
Desert
doesn't.
Palace,
It
right?
doesn't. Only if Sahasrara holds an important item. Let's see if I can make it 2 for 1. Oh, yes.
Whoa, look at this.
So what I did there was I used the boots as I was doing that sword spin. Okay, statue, get away from me.
So when you stop moving, does that stop the glitch happening?
Ish.
There we go. Oh my god, you're just nailing all these. Well, until that.
Yeah, until you get hit by something. Oh wait, but it reactivated. Nice. Until I used the boots. And that causes the game to sort of think that you're sort of in a dashing state, and so suddenly you're running really fast. It's very convenient. A lot easier to land on console than on emulator, I've learned today. I had been told that, but now I'm sure of it, so that's nice.
So what are the differences that you're seeing right now between emulation versus actual console?
That would be the first one. And we're still hoping for a hammer. I'm looking up at the item tracker on the screen.
You got a Master Sword, though. That's big.
I mean, if I find a lamp as well, that's basically going to be telling me that we need to go to Hyrule Castle Tower and fight Aga, which is not what I want. Not what I want.
Well, as is so often the case in Randomizer, it's not about what you want. It's about what the Randomizer gods decide.
Now I'm coming up to a room that anyone who watches runs either of Rando or of even just Link to the Past in general will be familiar with. It's a Stalfos room where we're going to try and kill the enemies before they even appear. I don't want that hurt.
Oh, yes, this room. Well, not this room.
Not this room, the next room. So normally enemies will pop up here and try to kill you. We're actually going to try to kill them before they even become visible. We have to follow a certain pattern, and we're so close. But it's okay. There's normally 3. We still got away with just 2.
I think anyone new in chat probably figured out what you were trying to do there.
So we have another donation if we have a moment.
Yes.
We got $50 from Dorkmaster Fleck. That's me. Woo! GFA is live. Love me some Link to the Past Randomizer. Maybe we'll do some Key Sanity at the next one?
Yes. The shout for entrance, Rando.
Okay, we've got more dark rooms to do here.
I mean, why not both, really?
Now this one I can actually pretty much do without any guidance, so we're just gonna... We got some pots here that I'm using to guide me through the room. Where's my key? Okay, there we go. Let's get out. There's an enemy right there. I should be over, and door, and out. Okay.
Asper's really excited about the entrance rando. So is Bagu.
I have to take so many notes while doing entrance randomizer. I don't see that happening. Unless you want to see me here literally just writing things down on a piece of paper.
I mean, I could always do that, too. Just have a little co-streamer.
Okay, we are going up the mountain without a lamp.
Oh, there's your tracker. I didn't even
Yes.
see it.
Oh, actually, no. We don't even have to go up without a lamp. We're going up with the flute. Yeah. So, flute and mirror actually gives us access to Tower of Hera. We're going to check that. I'm going to do one more dark room here. There's an old man in this cave that you have to save.
You're just killing
And
these
he
dark rooms.
gives you an item. I'm hoping I don't have to kill too many of them. I'd like a lamp soon. But, okay. And so normally this would be how you get up the mountain. You would already have the lamp in the vanilla game, and you would take a different entrance. But we only had the flute. So we flew up here, and I've already picked up the old man. You can't tell, but I have. And we're guiding him out of this cave that he was trapped in.
He's there, I promise. Imagine if somehow you got past him without meaning to, and you came back out, and he just wasn't there, and you were like, wait, what?
Now, Death Mountain is very appropriately named in this game because no matter at what point in the game you come up here, it is just a disaster. Everything is very mean, and I miss that thing. Okay, we're running.
Never mind.
Too many boulders.
The fact that the death cabbages can hit you on the actual ladder that you can't get away from.
Yeah, and then, you get these other enemies called Dead Rocks, and they turn into statues. They don't actually die when you hit them. And despite being a mountain, there are very tiny paths for you to walk on, so they generally get in your way all the time.
Yep. Usually by where you send them.
So we're in, fairy, hello.
Oh, there you go.
So we're about to go into Tower of Hera. want to see if it's a crystal or a pendant. It is a crystal, so we're also going to complete it.
Clear it right out.
We have everything we need. So what you need in here is really just some kind of weapon and a fire source in case you have to go into the basement because there are torches you have to light. Small key could mean that we're going to need to do the basement. But hopefully we find the big key in the next chest and then we won't have to do it.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Oh,
But
the book.
instead we found the book.
Oh, that means we can go check pedestal.
We're not just going to go read what's on the pedestal, Dave.
Well, I mean, you could, though, is my point.
Okay, so now we
This room
have
is
to
my
do
bane.
these very slow rooms in the basement. But we get to
Oh,
do
but you
we get to
got
do
it.
nothing for a bit, and I need some water. Yeah, we
Hooray,
have time
hooray.
for another donation.
Donation
I do
time.
nothing right now.
All right. Donated 64.23 by Mio Mai. Oh, my oh my. Love you guys and love the cause. Waves at Davey and Bazley. Flag proudly. Oh, Bazley, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mayo, thanks you so much, buddy.
Mayo. Okay, so I'm on the wrong side of these, so I have to reactivate this, which is not fun, but we're good. We're good.
Val says time for Pendant Desert. Hashtag blame Bazley.
So we call that the coffee break because you get to just sit and do nothing for a bit. We're gonna light these torches, get our big key finally.
Did you know the big key was going to be there?
Yes, it had to be. It was the last possible location for the big key to be because you can't go any further in this dungeon without it.
And you say you're not responsible for the logic.
Okay, hey now, hey now.
All those blame Bazleys were true.
And this is also pretty straightforward. We do have a bomb jump coming up though, so that'll be fun. We're really just working our way through these rooms as you normally would.
Bomb jumps? I don't know.
So we have a bomb jump coming in this next room, which will be fun because bomb jumps require you to have very good view of pixels, and I've never, done this on one of these TVs. So it's right up here. We're gonna try to bomb across here to get to the big chest. I actually think I'm in just the right spot, so we should be good. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. So, just for people who don't know Randomizer, would you like to explain the mechanics of the bomb jump?
So that one was on the tiles on the floor in this dungeon. There are these little white dots, and you basically have to put yourself so that your shadow is a pixel above the bottom white dot on the tile. It's very weird to explain. And then you use the bomb to launch yourself across the pit. And now we're gonna fight Trolldorm. The boss is actually called Moldorm, but he tends to troll people because he can knock you into these pits, which drop you down to the floor below.
And that resets his health, does it not?
Yeah, resets his health, resets the fight entirely. I should only need 3 sword spins, but I might have accidentally poked him a moment ago. No, we're good. He's dead.
No poking here. And it's the best rupee!
Okay, so we're actually going to Desert with the book. Desert. Oh, boy.
So you are going to have to go and do...
Yes, so Desert is the only thing really open to us right now.
Al called it.
Now, it is a pendant dungeon, which you hope not to do. So, in an open randomizer run, what you need are the 7 crystals that will get you into Ganon's Tower, the last dungeon in the game.
So you try to never do a pendant,
And you're
right?
hoping that you don't have to go into pendant dungeons at all, but you often do. The first thing we're going to check is this cave over here, though. This is an NPC called Agina, so we call this Agina's Cave.
Okay.
And maybe he'll have something.
nice
Maybe
name.
he'll have something that will let us bypass Desert Palace. But Desert is actually a pretty short dungeon, so I'm not too worried about having to do that right now. I am out of bombs, so I'll need to pick some more up at some point. Okay, no, that's not going to help us. So we are going into Desert Palace.
I mean, you're already part of the 1% if you're like, oh, money, I don't need that.
Now, the nice thing is that Randomizer has basically told us that we are set to go in here. It gave us the book, it gave us the gloves, it even gave us the boots, which aren't always required for Desert, but sometimes are. Okay. Ouch. So this is like a guaranteed I can at least finish this dungeon if I have to. But hopefully we just find the item we're looking for right away.
Tom says maybe there are bombs on the ether tablet, and
And I could have checked that while I was up there with the Master Sword in the book. Thanks, Hom.
and you totally could have. However, so now we get to an easy dungeon,
Ooh.
yeah?
Ooh. Ooh. Bright lights behind us.
So cool.
Yeah, this is also a pretty straightforward one. I think the only thing that would be very worth explaining later is key dashes if I have to do them. But again, hoping to find some items before that. I might have to go back up to the mountain for the ether tablet.
Okay, a key dash. What is a key dash?
Key dashes are when you dash through doors, which normally you can't do. If you dash into a door that's locked, you'll usually bonk off of it.
Right.
But there are some setups that let you dash right. Okay. So boots actually are going to be required because big key is going to be on the bonk torch, which we have to bonk into to grab. So there's some key dashes later in this dungeon, some doors that you can set yourself up properly so that you dash through them as you open the door and don't bonk off of them. But there's our big key. Oh.
Now, of course, required bonks are included in the bonk kits.
Yes, of course they are.
So it would be kind of nice if there was a system to make it so that it was just like necessary bonks and worthless bonks.
They can just differentiate somehow.
Somehow.
Okay, Quake isn't going to help us that much.
So I don't see people using the medallions like ever. Is there a reason for that? Like, because they're quite powerful, are they not?
So they take time because they all have a little animation that goes with them.
Oh, okay. Like bombos.
Yeah. But we do need them to open certain. Oh, nope. Okay, I'm actually going to check that ether tablet quickly before we go through the rest of Desert Palace, which takes a lot of time just for one, arguably two items because they have the green pendant, which might be required.
Oh, we're back in your favorite place.
We have to deal with these guys again. But hey, I got the thing this time.
Oh,
And he hit me, so so that's over.
You had the thing this time.
Yeah.
For a bit. So were you trying to do that the same way, or is that just a faster way of climbing up the ladder?
So that was. I don't know if it was. It probably wasn't visible on the thing because my hands aren't on the screen.
It was all like.
But there's a technique called pumping, which I was using up those stairs. Although I saw Link turn to the right a little bit, so it wasn't the most graceful. Come on, jump down the thing, buddy.
Oh, the pumping thing. Oh, okay, yeah.
And so pumping is basically a movement manipulation technique that allows you to get Link to. Oh, great. Okay, it looks like it was Desert. That allows you to get Link to move more pixels per frame than he normally does.
So cheating, basically.
Yes. We're gonna open Desert again. The nice thing about a tracker is looking at what items you've got while waiting for cinematics to finish.
See, medallions are good for something.
Okay, let's get through here. And unfortunately, like I said earlier, this is a pretty quick dungeon, so we don't have too much to go through. I'm surprised I haven't even found a bottle yet. Donations? Yeah.
Thank you, Ty Swan, for the $25.69. Game, Freddy Fish.
Of course.
Of course.
Thanks, Tyson.
Of course. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, so we got a key dash. So I'm gonna get through this door without bonking it. That's literally all this is for. Yeah. Normally you would bonk off it if you tried to run from anywhere else in the room. Oh, we got another one. We got another donation.
Thank you, Ty Sasson, for the $12.85 donation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Look at our friends donating.
Right?
Okay, we got a key in here.
I would just like to let you know that chat is swamped with our viewers. Just swamped.
Hi, guys.
Thanks so much for dropping by, guys.
Now, normally there would be some great quick kills on this boss, either with silver arrows or even with the fire rod. Now, I do have the fire rod, but I don't have a lot of magic to work with, so chances are I'm not going to kill them with this sad amount of magic that I've got. But we'll try to do a little bit here.
But gosh darn it, you're gonna.
Otherwise,
try.
I'm going to have to do this kind of the long way.
Oh.
And they even went in all the wrong directions. That's fine.
Ah. But there's only one direction.
That was a nice long trip you took. Okay.
One's down. There you go. Hook shot!
There's our item.
All right.
Okay, so hookshot's going to get us over to the other side of Death Mountain, which has a ton of item drops. And of course it was on a pendant boss, because why wouldn't it be?
Of course. Of course. Now, the sassy sarsaparilla is going to give you an item now,
So
right?
Hoshula would give us an item now. I'm not going to check it yet.
Oh.
There's way more item locations up on Death Mountain to grab. Much better chance of there being something there. And I have the mirror, so when I'm eventually in the Dark World, remember we still don't have Dark World access.
Oh, that's right. No, wait, you got into the Dark World before, didn't you?
I have the Dark World. Come on. There we go.
There you go.
I have the Dark World access up here, but that doesn't actually lead to anything. The Dark World access up on this side of Death Mountain just lets you get to Tower of Terra if you have the mirror.
Because everything else is behind.
Everything else is behind either another glove upgrade or the hammer. Oh, get away from me. Those are the wonderful dead rocks, which you can try to fight them, but then they just turn to stone and then they block your path. So we've got a ton of item locations just in this cave, and I have no bombs.
Okay.
Oh, but there's a shop, right? No, you need bombs to even get into that shop, so that's fine. We've got donations while I check these locations.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Donation $5 from Greyleaf. Sorry I couldn't make it out there today, but love the cause, love the rando, and absolutely loving my three boys. Shout out to Dave, Barry, and Andy Man.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks,
And we have
Dan.
another donation. Thank you, Hab Guy, for $5. I felt the need to donate. I #blame Bazly, but it's for a good cause, so it's worth it. And we have another donation. Don't Bagu Me. Thank you, Don't Bagu Me, for the $6.42. iBazly is a frothy, crook-plated Applejohn. Crook-pated Applejohn. No idea what that means, but thank you for your generous contributions.
Amazing. Thanks, guys.
So we have our Dark World access now, so we're going to hop in here right away and make use of it to get even more item locations checked, this is a large part of Randomizer. If you're not familiar with it, it's just checking lots of item locations as fast as you can.
Yep. But that's also kind of the fun of it, right? Like you wouldn't Oh, damn. Well,
Can't delete the blocks today. And we even have Hookshot, so we're also going to be checking Hookshot Cave. Unlike that practice run I was doing last night.
we adamantly decided no. There we go. Oh, look, you even got some bombs there.
Okay. Not helping us. But even if we don't find anything here, we have access to the whole Dark World now. So that is the important thing. Even East Dark World, which is only accessible through if you have hammer and flippers. Even Titan's Myth can't get you there. We're also going to see what we need to get into Turtle Rock.
I was going to say, you do not have a ton of items, do you?
We need Ether to get into Turtle Rock, which we don't have. Are we going to have to do it? It is a crystal, so we will have to do it eventually. We've got pendants at Pod and Skull Woods.
Can you do my favorite dungeon, the Ice Palace?
That is going to be a required one, yes. And I can actually already go there, so we've got options. We've got a lot of options.
It's just a question of which one's the best one.
So far, not Hookshot Cave.
I don't know, those extra bombs.
Hey!
Hey, there you go.
There's my lamp.
There's
Worth
your
it.
lamp. Not bad, not bad.
We've got one last item location to check up here, which is actually in the light world. Thankfully, we have boots. This is called Spiral Cave. Really hate going through here without them because it's just a long, winding tunnel.
Yeah.
We're going to grab the hook shot so I can kill these things faster.
I wonder if whoever decided to make this cave, right, thought one day they would be speed running this game. It was like, you know what? I'm just going to make the trolliest, longest cave that everyone will have to go through.
It's not even, unless you're doing a 100% run, you wouldn't even do this cave ever. So it's just
Yet
a
I
really
see
long,
everyone
out of the
do
way, unnecessary cave. Okay, we're going to fly. We're going to start off in Village of Outcasts, which is the Dark World version of Kakariko Village. I still have a bottle, so I can't even get anything from Sick Kid yet. And I believe I saw... let's see. Double check my stuff up there. Skullwoods is a pendant. I'm not sure how I feel about that. We're still going to jump in and see if we can grab some items. There are only 2 item drops in this dungeon in a normal open seed. But we're going to start from the back because we do have the fire rod. This dungeon this is one of 2 dungeons that can be very confusing for new players of Link to the Past because it's basically just a big maze with a lot of different entrances.
Yeah, that always threw me off when I was watching it. I was like, oh, that was a fast dungeon. Never mind.
Nope. Part 2, Part 3.
Part 2, Part 3.
But we're going to actually start off at the...
Whoa. Okay.
I definitely was standing on that key. We're going to start off at the back of the
but
dungeon.
I think you dodged a bullet there. If you had grabbed that key, that hand would have grabbed you.
I would have gotten away from it.
Oh, excuse me.
So if we didn't have the fire rod, we would have been in the beginning of the dungeon just checking some stuff. But since we did, we can hop in the back here. And it's really just to check this one chest, mostly because it could have the big key. And the more we get done of this dungeon, the better, especially since it's a pendant dungeon. Don't want to have to come back in looking for stuff later.
Can you burn that thing with the lamp?
What thing?
The thing that you burned to get in here.
No, you can't. Only fire rod. Oh, uh-oh. Now, we don't really want to die in the overworld of the Dark World because then we just end up back in the light world. That'll take a lot of time, so I might even purposely take a death in the dungeon somewhere. Now, normally you'd have to move a statue to press the switch down, but we've got Arcane of Samaria to do that for us.
So you can cheat.
Yes, all
and
the
cheese it.
Okay,
Wow. Okay.
there's our big key.
There's your key.
Take me. So,
First death. Look, our faces are all red.
so that was basically just a free health refill. And again, if that happened in the overworld, we were going to be back in the light world, making our way back here anyway.
So really, that was a tactical death.
And we still haven't found an actual item drop other than treasure items. So we're still looking for 2 items, and yes, donations.
Donated $3.85 from Don't Bagumi. iBazly is a churlish beef-witted black dish.
Thanks, Bagu.
Jeez.
Have I mentioned Bagu is one of my favorites?
He is great. I was laughing and not paying attention when I got out of that chest, but I think it was the... No, it wasn't the map because I already have the map. It's okay. There's literally only 2 spots left to check, so we're just gonna check them anyway because I was. Oh, there we go. Good thing I did because it was a key. It must have been a key. So those are our 2 items out of Skull. We don't really have anything else to find in here. Hopefully we don't have to come back and get the pendant, but that would only be if we have to get an item off the Master Sword pedestal, which hopefully we don't.
Oh, so this one's a pendant, so we don't have to finish it.
Exactly. That's what I just said, Dave.
Oh,
Listen to
sorry.
me when I talk. He never listens to me when I talk. It's
Never,
fine.
ever.
Oh, yeah. Donations.
Donation of $6.42 from Kid Infinite. Very proud of you, Baz. And Davey, how are you doing?
Thanks, kid.
Thanks, kid. Oh, maybe, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it would have been.
Oh, well, still open the door. That's fine. So we've got a few items to check here, and then we're going to hop into a dungeon. Now, the dungeon that's in the center of this area, Thieves Town, you technically need the hammer to get everything out of it, but we're hoping we'll either find the hammer or just find all the items in the dungeon without it. The hammer is really only required to open the big chest. Silvers, when we find the bow, those will be great.
Yeah, when we find the bow.
It's going to be the last item. So it's this dungeon here. Hopefully we can find all the items without our hammer. And this is the other one that I was mentioning. When people first start playing, it's very confusing because it's a huge maze. There's all these you have to walk under these paths. People get lost very easily. Once you know it, though, it's actually probably one of the easiest and fastest dungeons in the game. And it is a crystal, so we're going to be fighting Blind today. Who will have a pun for us when the fight starts.
Oh, excellent. This is really what I look forward to in any random race is Blind's puns.
Oh, I got bunnied. So there
you did.
There are these things called bunny beams, and if they hit you, you turn into a bunny as if you as if you didn't have the moon pearl. That's what, if you came into the dark world without the moon pearl, that's what Link would look like. Or at least that's what this Link would look like.
Some terrifying pink Donnie Darko rabbit. Or is that just me?
A little bit low on hearts. So the nice thing about this dungeon is that there are a lot of heart drops as well, so we should be able to fill back up before we have to fight the boss.
And we didn't have to go into Agger. That's awesome.
Yeah, no Agger required for this one. There's heart and our key.
So those keys are always in the same spot when they're underneath
Yeah, so that key will always be there. Now, there are other extensions of the randomizer that will give you options such as shuffling pots.
Oh yeah, I remember watching you stream that a couple times.
But even there's another randomizer mode called Key Sanity where the dungeon items are also shuffled in with the rest of the items. So say the big key for this dungeon, I could have found in another dungeon, could have found in the overworld. Even in Key Sanity, though, the keys that are on enemies or under pots will be in the same place.
And I might just say, people are salivating at the mouth for Key Sanity next time. No, seriously.
Oh gosh.
They want a Key Sanity, entrance rando, pedestal, double dip in 3 dungeons.
Okay, well, I'll start practicing tomorrow. Because no matter when that happens, that's when I'm going to need to start practicing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we're still going to need hearts. I'm hoping I don't get hit too much. Okay, nice. We'll have to walk right past that guy.
Now, is this the largest dungeon in the game outside of Ganon's Tower?
No, this is super short. I said that many times. Dave, listen.
No, you said Desert was short, not this.
Desert is also short, yeah. The longest is probably Turtle Rock, actual distance-wise. Misery Mire is a long dungeon that people get lost in, making it seem artificially longer. So we've got 2 item locations left, the big chest, which we can't get, and the item on the boss. That's actually the boss following me. She's trying to trick us.
Mary, spoiler warning.
Spoiler.
Gosh.
But this boss hates light. Earlier we bombed a hole in the floor, which causes light to shine in, and that's gonna make the boss freak out. I have very few hearts, so get excited.
Oh, we didn't even read the pun.
I'm so sorry.
Something about.
I was too busy thinking about how I'm about to die.
Ugh. See, you're gonna say that, but now you're gonna like, just destroy it.
It was the beach. I'm not sure I can make it.
Ah! I like that.
Oh, yes. Okay. So fortunately, I was able to use the red cane. The way that that boss works is that anything that can do damage to Blind does the same amount of damage to Blind. It's not about Blind having a health pool. It's just a certain number of hits to kill him. As opposed to other bosses, which do actually have health pools and different items do different amounts of damage and stuff. So I was able to use the red cane there to make up for the fact that I was almost dead.
So if you were GUD good, you could literally kill blind with just about anything that does damage.
Anything that does damage.
So like the lantern or...
Well, that doesn't do damage. Anything that does damage to blind, not anything that does damage, period. So like the arrows don't hurt him. Bombs don't hurt him. And now we're going to do the digging game. Oh, okay. Never mind.
All
Short,
right.
okay.
Well, okay, just leave
So
it
the
there.
digging game, the digging game can require anywhere from 1 to 30 digs. We got 1, which is nice because it was also not a worthwhile item. And so we're also going to pick up the blacksmith. So this guy is from Hyrule. He's gotten trapped in the Dark World. We need to bring him back to his brother in the Light World. They live over here.
The breadsmiths.
Now we don't have hammer. Normally we'd hammer down all these pegs so that we could also get another item. That's not an option right now.
Now, is it possible that this guy will have the hammer?
It's entirely possible for him to have the hammer. I mean, they're holding giant hammers. They could just lend me one, but
Like, really?
they're not going to. We've got a donation.
Another donation of $3 from Don Bagumi. iBazly is a privileging, bad-fouling clodpole.
Oh boy.
We love you, Bagu. Thank you so much for the donation.
Thank you very much for the donations. And you don't have to read all of Bagu's donations, I promise.
There might be a few more.
So I now have a chest following me. We're going to drop this off. There's a guy who's going to open it for us. Unfortunately, we can't do much to move faster with the chest. There's some little ways to do it, but most of the time if you press A, you're going to actually drop it and leave it behind, which is annoying when you have the boots as well, because I would like to be running right now. There are some tricks to get yourself running with the chest, but they can be kind of clunky and they don't help too much. Why are there 3 bombs everywhere? Just 3
The
bomb
game's trying to
clusters
tell you something.
that I desperately need bombs. I don't need bombs.
Yet bombs.
So we're taking the chest on a little trip with us as we check a bunch of locations. I'm going to switch back to my hook shot.
You know, I'm sure he doesn't get out very much, so he probably appreciates
He needed this one.
Oh, awesome. For the bow that you don't have.
Now we're going to go after this.
Yeah, that tracker's still looking pretty empty.
Yeah. So Swamp House is right here, but we need the hammer. We might have to dip into Palace of Darkness, which technically requires the bow to full clear, but we can get through a lot of it without the bow.
So there will be double dipping happening.
Maybe. If we find bow and hammer in there, that would be great. It's probably not going to happen that way, though.
Because this is Randomizer.
Yep. Yeah, so what we really need right now is that bow and hammer, and that's going to open up a lot for us.
Oh, so worth it.
Another thing I can do quickly while I'm standing in this area is that I'm actually just going to fly over to another cliff top right over here. Oh, actually, Misery Mire wouldn't be a bad idea if we can get in. So this is another required dungeon, but we need a medallion to get into it, and it is also ether. So we need ether for both of our medallion locked dungeons.
So really, it's find ether. The game. I like how the game gives you a little like sound when that happens, like it's trying to tell you did something wrong.
Well, that's because I'm trying to use the mirror in a place where the mirror doesn't do anything. Oh, sure, let's bounce off that wall.
There's another one. Remember, there will be bonk guesses.
So if we had ether, we would be set up to clear Misery Mire right now, but we don't. And that's just a heart, so that's not going to be our ticket. So we're going to do Hype Cave. So Hype Cave is a cave, I'm about to check, that in, I think, version 18 of the randomizer was hype because it would always have a lot of items. It's been less hype for about 10 versions now. But we still
sucks.
Oh, I can't get into the Dark World over here.
No, that's a hammer. So you can't do Hype Cave?
I can, but we're going to have to take a different way around. But that's all right, because what we're going to do is we're going to check north at Dark World item locations as we work our way back around. Okay. Might even go into pod first. Now see, I just disparaged Hype Cave, and now I'm not going to get to it for a little while, so this is going to be the time where it's going to have everything I'm looking for, because it heard me talking smack about it.
Isn't that just how it always goes? Like, we were talking about that earlier. Like an hour ago.
Now, we don't have the cape, which I would need to get the item off of this ledge up here, so let's see if we're going to need to find our cape for something important. Probably not, though. Nope, just a red rupee. Which I know, it's the best. You want me to get it. I don't like it, though.
Like, I really do. To be fair, you've been picking up more than you usually do.
It's very loud. I wonder if that is like can be heard, or if this is a very. This looks like a pretty solid mic.
Oh, look, another one. Excellent. Excellent. So what do you still need to use rupees for, really?
Maybe potions, but I probably don't need those. Getting into Palace of Darkness is going to cost 110 rupees.
Oh, the monkey, yeah.
And we are going to want to go into... Pod is also a pendant dungeon. I would like to check Hype Cave first, I think.
I mean, it's not too late for an all dungeon run.
It's definitely not too late.
It's not too late for a pedestal all dungeon run.
I don't need all that money.
Ham says, did someone say potions? So this is what? Sahasrar's tomb? No.
This is called King's Tomb. Oh, come on. Really? Anyway.
And inside will be
Hammer.
bombs!
Or bombs. Just
Excellent.
more another cluster of 3 bombs.
Oh,
Most important
perfect.
item. And you know what? I would really like to check Hype Cave. I would be excited about going to pod if it were a crystal, but I don't want to have to double or triple dip a pendant pod. So we're gonna take a peek at Hype Cave after all.
I don't know. I mean, you might have to.
Cleaning up the overworld can be a little frustrating when you have nothing.
Literally
You
nothing.
have nothing to continue the dungeons that you need to finish.
Like, you guys can see that tracker, eh? Look how empty that is.
Anybody who knows me or has seen me play this game before knows that it's always the bow. I can never find the bow.
I mean, it's your own fault. You walk right by it.
We have not seen the bow yet. I didn't walk by it on purpose this time.
This time.
I may leave it on the library shelf a lot. Most of the time.
Asper would like to let you know that he had nothing to do with the making of this seed. So
I don't believe that.
It's still blame bad.
This has Asper written all over it.
I'm pretty sure you just made this seed yourself. And
So this is the artist formerly known as Hype Cave.
The artist?
The artist. But now it's
Alright, let's
Nothing
see.
Cave. Nothing
No.
Cave.
Was that not what?
Okay.
Hype Cave is hype again.
I'm sorry, Hype Cave. I'm sorry I was mean to you.
Are we sure this is version 28?
We are.
Did they get 18 by accident?
This is not the light world. This is the dark world.
So what happens if you blow the flute in the...
Nothing. It does nothing.
Okay.
Although later in the game, Link will do it himself. You'll see at the end of the game, Link does it on his own, and inexplicably the bird still shows up. And I'm like, why couldn't you have been here the whole time? But no.
Because reasons.
So now we're heading into Misery Mire because we actually have what we need to do that. We have Ether. We've got the Boots and Hookshot.
So this gives you access to 2 of the worst dungeons, right? Turtle Rock and Mire.
This one can be really easy, can be frustrating. If we find a bow, that would be ideal. I think with my current setup, the most annoying thing about this dungeon is going to be the boss. I don't have a great way of killing this boss.
Oh yeah, because you don't have the cape, you don't have
Yeah, I don't have the
silvers.
cape, I don't have the bow, and I don't have the blue cane.
Well, sorry, you have silvers, you just have no way to
No way
poke
of
them in the eye
firing them,
with
yeah.
it.
I'm of the belief that Link should just throw them, but
I mean, he can easily stab with them. He has force now.
I mean, that is really the most annoying room in this dungeon. Just because the enemies are very spread out.
Like, I'm not going to say that I've seen it done better, but there are other ways.
You've seen me do it better.
Yeah.
So we're only looking for 2 items in here in total, and then the big key so that we can get to the boss. There is one other part of this dungeon that's kind of annoying. The way that you would normally get to the big key in Vanilla Link to the Past involves sitting through a very long, boring little animation. We can hopefully bypass that if we get our 2 items and big key before having to go up there. There's our big key, so that's step 1.
There you go. Oh, you mean the lighting of the torches?
Yeah, there are 4 torches that you light, and technically it's making a giant wall move, but you don't actually get to watch the wall move. You just don't get to move as it makes a sound and the screen shakes.
Which is, of course,
not
the
very
most
entertaining.
exciting thing in this game, really.
And we're gonna get our fire rod. We've got some torches. This is not the boring 4 torches. We're gonna.
This is just 4
These are just to
torches
open
that
this
happen to be in
door.
the way.
And then we're going to. That's 1 item. We're gonna hope that we don't have to go to the big key chest, and we're gonna head this way instead. Or sorry, not the big key chest. The chest that would have the big key. We are going to go to the big chest of the dungeon, unless we find an item there,
Which you did not. So now you have to go to the big key, right?
No, now we're going to. So I have the big key, so we're going to check the big chest over on the right side.
Sorry, yeah, that's
If that doesn't have the item, then we'll probably go. Oh no, there's one other chest here too.
So which dungeon has the most chests, would you say?
Swamp Palace, which we are going to see today. Yes, we are. It is one of our crystals.
I mean, we might see all of them.
We might see all of them today.
Just how much would chat about that?
I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to check that other chest. I've got too many items I still need to find. I might have just skipped it and gone right to the boss, but not today. We're
Not
going to get to
today.
see that wonderful animation.
And I mean, at that point, like, we can read out donations if there's any. We can sit and have a chat.
We can try not to fall asleep. There's a few spots in this game that have sort of things like this, where you have to just kind of sit and wait for something to happen. That's not very entertaining. We saw one in Desert Palace already. Okay, there we go. Expert item menuing. The way that the item menu works in this game is also kind of frustrating, especially for doing a randomizer. Because you can't quite move. You can't just move in all directions on the item menu, like up, left, right, up, and down, the way you would think you can.
All right.
And so when you have huge gaps in your item menu, as you tend to with Randomizer, because there's
Such
tons of
as?
items you're still looking for, and you get them in a different order than you expect, suddenly you're trying to jump from one item to another one, and it doesn't make any sense how you're supposed to do it. Okay, so our last item is on the boss. Very low health.
And you don't have any fairies, do you? You don't have any bottles.
I don't have any bottles. I don't have magic powder.
You don't have diddly.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay.
All right.
We're gonna fill up our magic.
Pro strats right here. Beating disgusting swamp creature
The rest of this dungeon with 3 hearts.
with
Best
3
of luck.
hearts. GG. It was nice knowing you.
This menu layout is not my friend. Oh yeah, we've got donations.
Can you guess who it's from?
Oh no.
Oh, here we go.
What did you think he called you this time?
I don't even know. I can't even imagine.
Thank you, Don't Bag of Me, for $3 US. iBazly is a, ready for this?
Yep.
We're ready.
qualling, motley-minded Bum Bailey.
What? I don't know what it means, but I loved every syllable of it, Behu.
So we're not really getting any good opportunities to refill health. So this is going to be some.
Are there any static places, like under pots or anything like that? No.
We got nothing. We have no safety items. This boss is just a treat with this wonderful setup I have.
Well,
Oh, and the fire bar.
Oh, dear.
Okay, we now have two.
Get ready for
Let me
this
strategize for a second. Maybe hammer.
Maybe. That's a great.
This is gonna be fun. This boss. There are tons of strategies for this boss. I don't have a setup for any. I don't have the items for any of them, or the health for any of them.
The cave one's probably my favorite personally.
Instantly
But
got hit by a thing.
you can also die and get a lot of your health back.
Yeah. That's okay though. We're not going to get ourselves stuck here trying to kill this guy. We have a lot of other things to check now that we have the hammer. And I'm still thinking pod is probably likely. Oh, jeez. Oh. And we also have our pyramid ledge. Oh, and swamp.
People were shouting for bomb strats.
Oh, God. I would not have enough bombs. I still would have had to somehow survive on 2 hearts.
Oh gosh, if only there were like packages of bombs all over the map that you could have picked up.
That I could have picked up along the way.
I don't
If
know.
only. If only
only
the
there
if
were.
only the game had told me you might need bombs soon.
If only there was some hint that perhaps bomb strats would have been required.
Okay, so what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna check out. We're gonna check out Pyramid Ledge. We're gonna check out Catfish, and then we're going to hit up Swamp Palace.
Basically do everything else but go and fight this guy.
Yeah, we need a bottle, or we need powder, or the bow would be great, and then we'll be ready to go back and fight that boss. We can even save it for much, much later. Because at this point, now I mean, the worst case scenario is that the boss has the bow,
Oh god.
but we should be able to find some other stuff. And Swamp Palace has the most potential item locations. There's gonna be 6 item drops.
Okay.
So if it doesn't have at least something for us, then this game is mean and I quit.
Just rip run. If it doesn't work out this way, then I'm done. I'm gonna go over there to the Smash Bros. Center, and we're gonna make our own Smash Bros. Team. We're just gonna
I'm
go.
gonna learn how to play Smash.
I'm just gonna go learn Smash strats. That's what I'm gonna learn.
So this guy's gonna have an item for us. Hopefully something useful. Either way, we're probably gonna head.
No, a heart.
I'll take a
I
heart.
mean,
At this
considering
point.
what had happened, an extra heart would have been nice.
Okay. There we go. Didn't actually hear the flute play, but the bird did. That's all that matters. I was wondering why it was taking so long.
Val says, wait, there is Smash happening? Why am I watching this nonsense? I don't know if it's happening right now, but I mean, we're gonna be there.
Now, Swamp Palace. Swamp Palace is one that you hope you have all of your items for before you're going into it.
Do we?
So that, no, of course not. We still need the bow.
All right.
Because there's a whole 6-ish seconds that you would be able to skip otherwise. But since we're still looking for since we're still looking for items, we are going to be doing the entire dungeon. But there are a lot of items, so we have a chance to find some more safety stuff. And
I mean,
the bow, which I really want.
At this point, I don't know if 6 seconds really matters, but what do I know? I'm
I
not
just,
a speedrunner.
I
That
just,
could have been heresy.
I just want the bow, really badly.
Here we go. Your buddy's airport's favorite place.
I meant to actually go to bombs, but
I look for for a second like you were debating whether you were going to pick up those bombs. Like, do I need them? No. Do I need them? No. No.
And so this dungeon is also fun in rando because normally you come in vanilla, you come in here without the hookshot. Hookshot makes everything a little more convenient. You sort of change up the route that you take through the dungeon if you already have it, which I do.
That's the cool thing about Randomizer is that you go into dungeons with items you wouldn't normally have.
And there's a lot of dungeons. This game is surprisingly great for Randomizer because a lot of dungeons have multiple ways of completing them now based on what items you have when you come into them. Ice Palace is probably the best example.
Yeah.
There are maybe 3 or 4 different ways to route through that dungeon based on the items that you have coming into it.
Now, the way that you do, the way that I see most people doing, is that like the fastest way?
The bomb
or is
jump,
there-
yeah, there's a bomb jump in that dungeon that's pretty much the standard. If I could stop bonking, that would be great.
I mean, I don't know. Those bomb guesses. They're just getting higher and higher this whole time. Yes! Finally! Couldn't skip that one now, could you?
It's just non-stop. 3 bombs everywhere I go.
I'm telling you, man, it's just screaming bomb strats at you as loud as it can.
Kill Vitreous with bombs, please.
And now, like, I think at this point, it's like, oh, you didn't kill him with bombs? Well, now we're only giving you bombs.
Yeah. And so I'm not, because I know I'm clearing basically this whole dungeon, I'm not even really paying attention to counting items. There are enough that I would be working my way through the whole dungeon regardless.
Right. Now, you said this one has the most item locations?
Yeah, 6 item drops in here.
You didn't flood the key, that's
I
good.
did not.
Rookie mistake. Pro tip from someone who never plays Randomizer but has seen enough tilts to know.
It's a common mistake. Sometimes people don't go grab the key first before hitting that switch, and then it is stuck there. You have to reset the dungeon in order to get that small key, which you do need to advance.
Which is literally just leaving and coming back. Seed is trying to provide. Right, Val? Right? Right?
And of course, now that I said that thing about Vitreous having the bow, Vitreous definitely has the bow.
He's got the bow. Like, you
100%.
just
But even if I could just have the cape,
if you can find Cape, Vitreous goes down, no problem.
yeah, exactly. If you find cape or blue cane, you can activate it. It makes you invulnerable, and then you can just dash back and forth over those little eyeballs.
Which is really my favorite way of watching him being beat, honestly.
Or if I had a bottle, the potential to put things in the bottle.
I'm
I
calling
could
it
do
right
these
now.
sword spin strats, which require you to take damage while fighting that boss.
I'm gonna say that all the bottles are in GT.
all
But
4.
like, not just in GT, in a line in GT. Like, you'll walk into one of those rooms where
With
it's
the
just
4 chests?
4 chests, and every 4 will be a bottle.
I wouldn't even be surprised at this point. I've seen, just in practicing for today, I've seen the trolliest seeds I've ever seen in my life. So
I mean, last night's was pretty generous at first.
just wanted to party.
Really? Here you go. What's through that door? Nothing?
Yeah, it loops around to there.
Oh.
Not where we want to go. Oh, I hit the thing and now I can't hear myself. There we go.
There it is.
So we're getting close to the end. This dungeon's pretty long too. You were asking about long dungeons earlier.
Yeah.
This one's a pretty lengthy one, especially if you're checking everything. It's a pretty fast route just to the boss with very little blocking in it. You don't actually need the big key to get to the boss of this dungeon.
Wait, what?
So if you come in here and you're not looking for any more items and you have the hook shot, you just go right to the boss without having to really worry about checking anything.
So, he's not behind a boss door or anything like that?
Nope.
How did I not know that in watching thousands of hours of Randomizer? I just never clued in that this one had no...
Yeah, all you need the big key for in this dungeon is the big chest, and in Vanilla Link to the Past, that gives you the hook shot, which you need to then get to the boss and to kill the boss. But
Everything I
Randomizer.
knew is wrong. What even is this boss? Who even is it?
This is Argus. He's a giant eyeball covered in little puffballs. And he's
Right.
really difficult today.
The cutest and grossest of the bosses, all in one.
There we go. That's what I want to do.
Look at those strats. Oh, come on. Uh-oh. See, now rip that. You're trying to get fancy. So at this point in vanilla, do you have a better sword?
You can. And the better sword is accessible at this point. Whether or not you have it is up to how you're routing the dungeon. Oh, I'm not in a good spot for this. Yeah, not what I wanted to do, but that's fine. And it should only be a few sword spins.
I mean, it's pretty good considering that you A, only have a 2-level sword, and B, you don't have a bow to shoot them sweet silvers.
Okay, and so that was actually one of our 5-6 crystals. So we're gonna go get the other one from Ice Palace.
Might as well, right?
Is definitely our best idea next.
Is it possible that the bow is in Ice Palace?
Yes, it is entirely possible.
I don't know. I have a bad feeling because the more places you clear out, the more likely it is that Vitreous has that bow.
I'm at
And
this
you're
point,
trying-
I'm positive that's
You're
what's
trying
happening.
so hard for it to be anywhere else.
But even if I find another item to use on Vitreous, I'll be happy. Or even just something that could have refilled my hearts when I got to him with only 3.
So we're looking for cape, bottle,
Cape, bottle,
or just
a
the
bottle and a bug net. Blue cane, or of course, the bow. Now this is going to have the Ice Palace bomb jump that we've been talking about, which is kind of like if you start learning speedrunning Zelda or Link to the Past at all, not Zelda in general, this game specifically, this is probably going to be one of the first things that you actually try to learn, depending on... It's kind of just like the standard. So this dungeon, the way it's designed, I think is actually really clever. It essentially requires you to get down to the room just before the boss, hit a switch, and then make a big loop back around.
Okay, that's just...
It's very mean, and that's why I love it. It's very brilliantly designed to be mean. But, you know, speedrunners are speedrunners. They figured out how to bypass it entirely. You can... They figured out a trick that lets you skip the entire dungeon. We're not going to do that because we're going to do the trick. We still have to find items though, so we're not skipping everything.
But you can still demonstrate the trick.
But we're
for,
still going to do the bomb jump because it makes for a much better run of the dungeon.
Oh, it's just the bomb jump.
We
Okay.
did just find the big key though.
And
We've talked it up so much, I'm going to do the bomb jump.
yeah, might as well.
It's not this. That was not.
No, that was neither. That was a bomb, but not a jump.
This room we've got a little bit of a quick kill thing to do. Oh, no.
Oh,
or I could
no.
not do it at all.
Oh no, you missed them both. What happened?
That was, once you do it on the one, it's a weird thing where if one of them is knocked down, the bomb will kill both of them. I'll do it a little bit faster than I just did. But I didn't throw it in time. So this is the bomb jump. You kind of have to watch. There's some specific positioning, and I have not done this on one of these televisions. I think that was actually right.
I think you got that.
My
there.
sword was just one.
There you go.
There we go. 1 pixel below the bomb, the shadow on the bomb. Oh, and we only have Master Sword, so we're gonna do the bomb and bog strat.
Megu says there's a bomb jump in this dungeon.
Who knew?
Oh, look at these bomb strats. See. Now you just need to do that with Vitreous.
Just like that?
Yeah.
It's definitely not how it works.
I say go
it takes so many bombs to
I
kill
say
all those
go in
little
with
guys.
full bombs and just see if you can do it. Just see how far you can get.
So I'm gonna hope that we find the. What I want to find at this point here is a small key before I have to drop down the hole, but I didn't, so we're dropping down in the hole. We do have the big key though, so we can open the big chest. Now it looks like I'm on the wrong side, but we can hook shot through these blocks as I move them because of that earlier block thing that I described. A lot easier to do than the mirror, which I keep messing up this run.
It's true.
So this is normally where the boss is just down from that room. But we have more we have more items to try and find.
Yeah, because they could be anywhere. So you can't go back through that door without using a key.
Yeah, you would need a key. I will have enough keys by the end of this, and also have the big key. This particular set of rooms can be very annoying. This one is really fun to watch when people have just started. They love to try to go through on diagonals, which is a mess. That room is not designed for you to move diagonally at
See,
all.
I was gonna say, diagonals is probably how I would do it. Oh, there's another bonk for your bonk.
I was close enough to those stairs, game. Come on. We like to disagree a lot with when the game decides that we're not in the right position. The game is obviously wrong, and I am correct.
I mean, obviously it's wrong.
That was not intentional, but I loved it, so I'm taking credit for it.
All right, there you go.
That landed me right in front of the door. I'm going to do that every time from now.
There you go. You learned some new strats. Well, a new strat.
So now we're on the other side of where I dropped down, where I was hoping to find that small key. That's just to the left here. So we're going to be able to walk back over to the left and then head right to the boss after we hopefully find the bow. Come on, game. The bow.
There's no chance that the bow is in Ganon's tower, right?
No, because Eastern Palace is a crystal, which we need to get into Ganon's tower. Items will not block access to themselves, because then you wouldn't be able to actually complete the game without doing major glitches. I've been doing some minor ones, but no major glitching for this. Okay.
I mean, hey, the game is screaming bomb strats. Now you've got, what, 4 upgrades for bombs?
I do have a lot more hearts than I went into Misery Mire with a moment ago, because I keep finding heart pieces.
I'm just saying, blow him up.
Hey, and now we have a better sword, so that could also be very helpful in there.
There we go, there we go.
It's also be very helpful in this upcoming fight, which I was not looking forward to. Now, I didn't track if that was all 3 of our items out of ice. I think it may have been. I think I still am supposed to have one more key, one more small key. But either way, whatever it is going to be on the boss. Who we have to go kill, regardless.
This is going to be fun. I think I mean, you don't have bombos, but you're definitely in a good place, I would say.
Thank you for noting that I don't have bombos. I was about to get very stuck. So when you don't have half magic, right, with my current magic meter set up, yeah, go away. You need a full bar of magic to use on this boss, to use the fire rod on this boss, because he is encased in ice. I was about to go in with not enough, and that would have been
So if that happens, do you just do you have to mirror around?
I would need some sort of magic refill, which the boss doesn't have on him. Also means I'm going to be very careful with my fire rod shots right now, because I can't mess this up.
Yep.
So I have to get him out of that ice. 5, 6, 7. Get one more shot. 8.
There you go.
And we're going to get him stuck in a corner and keep him there for as long as possible.
Oh, no, no, no.
That's okay.
So
He always gets out. It's inevitable. But if I had more magic, then I could have used the fire rod on him in the corner as well. It'd be a lot better. But yeah, and there's that small key.
There's that small key. So does that mean that there's still another item somewhere in there?
No, that's it. That's everything. I wasn't sure if I had picked up 3 items or not, but apparently I had.
So if that case,
So now we have the crystals for the Pyramid Fairy, which I will start explaining once I'm actually picking up the bomb. We're going to go to that now. This item menu is a disaster. It's just terrible layout. Nothing is conveniently located. Okay. So there's a bomb shop in the Dark World, which is where Link's house is. We're going to hop in there and grab a very large bomb, which doesn't appear in the game until you have crystals 5 and 6, which we have now picked up from Swamp and Ice.
oh really? So sorry, how many crystals does it take to get into Ganon's tower?
7.
7? And in vanilla, what does this normally get you? Like taking the bomb up to the...
This gets you into the Pyramid Fairy, who upgrades your sword and your arrows to silver arrows.
Gotcha.
In this, she doesn't do anything, but there are 2 chests in her little cave that have items for us.
Nice, nice.
And, you know, that I'm hoping are the bow.
One would be the bow. If one was the bow, it would just be so nice. But I'm still holding out for Vitreous having it.
You know, our other option is we did pick up the green pendant a while ago. Sahasrahla could still be holding out.
Oh my god, if Sahasrahla has the bow, and you were just like, we're not going to go to him yet.
How's our chat doing?
Chat's doing pretty good. They're all having a great time out here. Watching you.
Nope,
Okay.
that's not the bow. Those are arrows.
That was a
Okay, game.
tease.
Okay, game.
But the game trolls in many ways.
Well, feeling slightly more confident now. So we're going to head back to Meyer with a better sword and more hearts. And we're not going to get hit at all on the way to the boss, right?
right. I mean, sure.
And then he's going to have our bow. So we're gonna get our bow from him. Pretty sure he has
says
it.
that's not the laser bridge.
Oh, jeez. Now, see, that is another unfortunate option open to us right now, is that Turtle Rock, a very long dungeon,
That's right, our Lord and Savior Turtle Rock is open.
technically open, but not completable unless we get the Ice Rod, which recently for me has always been in Turtle Rock. So
I mean, you
maybe
might
we
as
just
well.
need to go and do
Because
that.
how much of a troll would it be if you had to go in, find the Ice Rod in Turtle Rock, meet Trinex, who has the bow?
That is entirely possible. Ice Rod could be in Turtle Rock, and then the boss of the dungeon could have the bow that we're looking for. Usually, if Turtle Rock is a crystal, you kind of hope that you get to do it last, because then you're right outside of Ganon's tower.
See, there's some pro strats for you
Well,
right there.
But that doesn't happen often.
Pro logic strats.
Especially because Turtle Rock also has it has 5 item drops in it. So a lot of potential that you're going to find something you're looking for in there. Now I might actually be able to get to this boss without taking too much damage, so that's nice.
Han would like to point out that you don't have to finish Turtle Rock to get the bow off of Laser Bridge.
Oh, we've got donations.
All right, another donation of $3 from Don Bagumi.
Oh my god.
Here we go.
iBazly is a best blubbering, flap mouth, mumble news.
Of course. Thanks, Bagu.
That sounds like Bagu, doesn't it?
Just never going to stop. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so far you've taken a heart of damage.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I might take one more. This room on the way to the boss is kind of unforgiving, and depending on how these two things, the fire and the anti-fairy, decide to move around. No, we're good.
Oh.
We're good. We're good.
Decided to forgive you for last time. They were like, you
Okay.
know what?
We're gonna grant chat's wish and
Yes.
start with throwing some bombs.
Here we go.
We're gonna actually purposely take some damage here just to get some good sword spins off, but we don't want to do this too much because we don't have anything to refill our health. Let's get some more bombs out here. Okay. And of course, it's those two that are left.
I mean, you can bomb them.
Now, the less of these small eyes there are, the more rapidly he shoots his lightning bolts. So, but that's okay. They're all gone. Now we get to fight the main guy. Except for those 4 little ones that get to survive the fight for some reason. Link decides to leave the 4 babies behind because
The offspring.
apparently he decided this thing wasn't grotesque enough that he didn't burn the whole place to the ground.
Apparently, it just needs to breathe.
Okay.
Oh, no. See, they exploded.
Bow. Ice Rod.
Ice Rod. There you go.
Okay.
now
So we
our
are
Lord
going
and
to we are going to Turtle Rock.
We are going to our Lord and Savior Turtle Rock. Shame on Pig.
So that means we're leaving Eastern Palace as our last crystal, which is just so unfortunate because it's such a short, easy dungeon. It would be nice to have that already out of the way, but
No.
we need the bow,
We need to go to
which
Turtle.
is probably up in Turtle Rock.
All right, so what are we missing? We're missing the bow, every single bottle. The cape is still lost in action. The mushroom still isn't there.
All we need still to finish the game is the bow,
Okay.
which is going to be... I'm really hoping it's in Turtle Rock.
In the very last place that you look.
Well, obviously, because then once I find it, I'm done looking.
I mean, but I'm not wrong.
So Turtle Rock is typically, again, the last dungeon in the game before you go into Ganon's Tower. It's pretty lengthy, but it's nice and straightforward, and
more importantly, chat is loving it.
everybody's really excited for it, apparently.
Very excited.
And again, it does have a lot of item drops, so at least since we're looking for that one last item, this is at least a decent place to be going. Bo could also be sitting in Palace of Darkness, which is not a required dungeon this run, but, you know, I don't want it to be there. There's a lot of item drops in Palace of Darkness, too.
Now, you can beat Ganon without the bow.
Ganon, yes, but you can't get through Ganon's Tower without it. Bo is one of 5, arguably 7 items that you will need 100% of the time when running Randomizer. I say arguably 7 because Hookshot and Lamp, technically some people can get through the game without those, depending on the setup of the seed. I'll always need Hookshot. I can't hover.
Oh, yeah.
Hovering is a trick that I do not know.
Hover strat.
And I don't play on console. It's a lot easier to do. I mean, easier. It's still really difficult, but a lot easier to do if you're running on console with a Super Nintendo controller. I have the Super Nintendo controller, but I have to run on emulator. So you will not see me hovering anytime soon.
I mean,
Lamp, I could probably get through the game without at this point. I'm happy I didn't have to. Yes, that was on purpose.
look at them sweet strats.
We're gonna
Chuck yourself
chuck.
down.
No, I wasn't close enough. That's fine.
I mean, you got through. That's all that's important.
Okay, so we've got 2 keys. If we weren't still looking for an item, this would be a nice setup going into Turtle Rock.
But Turtle Rock was like, nope, you still need something.
Yeah.
So here's 2 keys. Have fun going to everything else.
Also, in addition to the 5 items in here, there is also Mimic Cave, which is technically an overworld location, but you have to get to it through the dungeon.
We
you
also
need to be outside. There's a part of this dungeon where you walk outside, and you have to mirror from the dark world into the light world. This room is the bane of everybody's existence, but thankfully that went very well.
Good job.
Those chain chomps do a ridiculous amount of damage no matter what armor you have on. I have the second stage armor. Even if you had the red armor, they still do just way too much damage, and that room tends to kill people.
We've seen many a tilt where the chain chomps are concerned. They're not even in the right game.
A lot of people also do refer to this as the Super Mario dungeon. We've got pipes, we've got chain chomps, and we've got pokies bouncing around.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of nonsense is what I'm hearing. We also forgot the most important item,
Oh no.
the shovel. We haven't found that yet.
Oh boy, I really hope I don't. So the big key had to be there at this point. That was the last spot it could possibly be in because to get further in the dungeon, you need it. We're about to get to that outdoor area and check Mimic Cave.
And you still don't have powder, so there's
I still have no
bats.
powder, no bottles, and no net. I have nothing to protect myself
Game is
from
like-
death.
Well, we're gonna play on hard mode now. I really hope you find all those items in a line.
out of here. And I mean, the thing with those items is that they aren't required to actually finish anything, so the game can put them all in Ganon's Tower. Because they're not blocking access to anything, except arguably a bottle can get you an item from Sick Kid once you have it. But if he doesn't have anything you need, so this is Mimic Cave. This is the only way to get here without doing some funky glitching. No? There we go.
Man, these things look like they're a nightmare.
Yeah, they're called mimics, thus Mimic Cave. You can, okay, there's
Love
the,
bug nets!
I don't have any bottles to put any fairies or bees in, so
Completely
net is useless right now.
Wow. That's just...
But maybe I'll find a bottle. And there's our bow. We found the bow.
What?
We got the bow.
Oh, I was looking at chat. I didn't even see.
And that
Hooray.
means we should be
In
good
go
to go.
mode.
We are in go mode.
We are in go mode. Nice. So then,
I was getting worried, I'm not gonna lie.
so we gotta do this dungeon, we gotta do pods.
No, we just have to do Eastern.
Or, sorry, Eastern.
This dungeon, Eastern, and then we're off to Ganon's Tower.
That is,
Now this
That's a
is
good
this is the only dark room in Turtle Rock, and despite being the last dungeon in the game, it's the easiest dark room to do, even without the lamp.
well, I mean, you're just sitting on a thing.
Well, you do have to direct where it's going.
Ah.
Oh no, okay.
Or,
Or I could say it's easy, and then I could go the wrong way entirely. That's how this works, right?
that, I mean, there you go.
Okay, and so we still need to check. We still need one small key, which is going to be on this disastrous room.
Oh, here we go. The one that everyone's been waiting for.
Oh, and we have donations. I'm going to grab some fairies while those donations happen. Heal up.
Thank you, Spiral90210, for the $10 donation. Super hyped to be able to catch the end of the stream of the run, iBazly. You're doing great.
Yay. Thanks, Spiral.
Thank you.
So I'm just healing up right here, which is going to be necessary because we have to do Laser Bridge, which is just a mess of a room.
Oh.
The other thing this does for us is that if you die in a dungeon, it's always going to take you to the last entrance you came in from. And so bombing that wall and then coming back in here means if I die on Laser Bridge, which again, pretty likely,
Yeah, because you don't have
I get to start off right here instead of going back to the beginning of the dungeon, which would be terrible.
You don't have Mirror Shield, you don't have...
Oh, there's our key. Never mind. We're out of here.
Oh, but
Okay. That's all we need.
there could be bottles.
I-
There could be 3 bottles on that bridge.
Don't need them.
You say that now. But that's exactly what we said about the bombs, and look how that turned out.
Okay, well. Oh no, oh no, oh no. And now we're on to Trinex. Trinex, what do we say about Trinex?
The best.
Oh.
The best, I think.
So
Of the enemies.
I don't want to say this ahead of time because then I'm just going to screw it all up, but generally Trinex is actually the boss that I'm best at. It's a pretty, I don't know, I came into Randomizer already knowing how to do this boss pretty well. Of course, I'm probably going to mess it all up. 1, 2, 3, one more. You have to kill these 2 heads. One is damaged by the ice rod, the other damaged by fire rod. Okay, they're dead, we're good. Then he's gonna go into his shell, is gonna explode, and then he's gonna come out and be like a fast snake thing.
See,
We're
this
gonna
was
try to quick kill him.
terrifying to me when
Yes.
I first saw this.
Perfect.
Of course, now he's gone.
That was exactly how we needed to go.
Well done, well done.
And we even already have silvers, so we're gonna clear up Eastern Palace very quickly.
And then you can just do it. Good game. Good game. I don't want to say it too early, but good game. So really, at this point, we're not really looking for any items. We're just
We are just getting that last crystal, and then we're going to Ganon's Tower,
going right through it.
and hoping that we find that big key nice and early. Get away from me, Dead Rock. Don't even. Don't.
I mean, it would be nice, and we've seen it before where GT Big Key is in the first chest.
Yep, it can be. And we'll talk a little bit more about... No, that wasn't going to happen. That's fine. We'll talk a little bit more about Ganon's Tower Big Key. There we go.
Once we get there.
Once we get this crystal. Let's go. Let's go, Link.
Needs more tile room, says Sarah.
Oh no. I'm just gonna get my bow ready now. Now we're back. We were here at the very beginning, and here we've come back, and we've come full circle to Eastern
Yes,
Palace, which is a fun little dungeon to learn to speedrun through because it's got a lot of back-to-back rooms that are just kind of have like little tricks in them, more so than
Hey,
a lot
got
of
it
other
that time.
dungeons in the game. I did get that time. Well, that time I didn't go and grab the other pot to kill him. I had sword beams this time.
Yeah.
You can also use the silver arrows. There's a lot of ways to kill that enemy before. I'm gonna actually. Oh no, 45 is my max. I thought I might have more space for arrows. But I don't.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Now this is the... Which boss is this one again?
This is Armos Knights.
Right.
Now because we have silvers,
This is gonna
it's
go
gonna be
really fast.
one hit kill on all of them. They all take one hit from the silvers to die. Nope. And we actually can get through this room without having to kill these guys. We just dash onto the key and we're out.
This one, it's always the same
Dash
one.
first. Yep, always the top left.
I wonder if they'll
And then
find a
we
way
just
to
have
randomize
enemies to
this.
kill for the rest of the Again, very, very quick dungeon. Especially when you have silvers.
Oh, yeah. All right, here we go.
And these guys with silver arrows are just the easiest.
Are you gonna bullseye everyone? You did!
Dead.
Way to go.
Now, normally this is when we get chat to make big key guesses.
Oh, that's
so
right.
There are 22 item locations in the basement of Ganon's Tower, and we need to find the big key. So people are in chat. Dave is watching. Feel free to get some big key guesses in. You're trying to guess a number
Yep.
between 1 and 22 as to where you think I'm going to find the big key. Dave, do you have a guess for me?
Big key guess time.
Where
What's
do you
my
think?
guess?
Yeah, what's your guess?
I guess 22.
Oh, God.
Because there's...
Jerk.
I didn't say it was going to be in 22. It's just what I'm hoping
You
for.
think that I'm going to have to clear the whole basement. Wow.
Yep.
I see how it is. Last time you were
I mean,
co-piloting.
think, hope, it's all the same. Bill 307 agrees with me. I just want to point that out there. Which will probably be tile room, I wish.
Yeah, so there's a room in Ganon's Tower basement called Tile Room because it involves the mechanic of tiles coming up from the floor and flying in your face. It's a very annoying room. Usually people leave it until last, which is why, we don't want that to be where the big key is, or I don't want that to be where the big key is. Everybody watching does. And the room itself, it just takes so long to wait for those tiles to go through. Boring rooms where you just have to wait are nobody's friend, except
Yeah.
for people watching.
Except for
Except
people
for
watching.
except for everybody watching.
And me.
Yeah. And we see Lionel's in the only spot they are in the entire game.
Yo, we gonna sub to this? It's already 140.
Oh yeah. I mean, unless there's
Unless
some
I'm
really
right.
nasty stuff about to happen. But we're even coming in with boots, so if there's always the rare situation that there's a bonk torch in here, and there's always that rare situation that you come in, the key is on the bonk torch, but you don't have boots yet. Or like the first practice run I did after finding out I was going to be doing this, big key on the bonk torch, and boots in the tile room. Oh, a wonderful, wonderful run that was. So we've got the first location here. We've got 1 and 2 for half magic.
Half magic.
Nice.
Nice.
So that makes it so that anything that uses magic will now only use half as much.
Now, is there still quarter magic in this?
No.
'Cause I haven't
So
seen that in a very
quarter
long
magic
time.
only exists in Randomizer in easy mode. If you are, okay, so that's location 3. That's the bonk torch.
Okay.
You're good. if you're playing a shared inventory co-op run, which is a thing, there's a shared inventory mod where 2 people play, and when one person picks up an item, the other gets it. If you're playing that and you both pick up half magic, it will still go to quarter magic. It's still built into the programming of the game. It just isn't an actual item drop anywhere in
There's a
anything other
bottle.
than easy mode. We do have a bottle now. This is 4, 5, 6, and 7 for the
7.
big key.
7 in the big key. That means...
Who won? Let's shout him out.
Dork Master Fleck, actually.
Nice, good job.
Nice. Yeah, I call hacks. I call
Rigged.
hacks. That's a rig. We'll just have to redo the entire thing. Rip run.
Now, I didn't explain this earlier, but the fun thing with mimics is that as long as you stop moving... Oh, okay. Nope.
Or not.
There we go. As long as you stop moving, you can actually grab onto walls, and that forces them to... It makes the game still think that you're walking, and so they still move around. It helps you with positioning them and stuff. We also have a key dash in this room. And then we're coming up to the gauntlet of Ganon's Tower.
Yeah.
So named because it's just room after room after room of enemies where you have to kill every enemy in the room. There isn't really any fast way to do it. It's all RNG based on which way the enemies move. It's not a fun time. We also are going to once again fight the boss of Desert Palace and Tower of Hera. Nice, they walked perfectly. Ganon's Tower actually has all 3 of the Light World bosses. It also has Armos Knights, but the Armos Knights are in the basement.
Okay.
And since I already got the big key, we didn't have to go see them.
So there's a couple that we just won't have to fight.
But we are going to come up to Landmola, the boss of Desert Palace, for a second time. Only also with a laser shooter in the room, which is very annoying.
So Landmola and Trolldorm, right, are the 2 that you always have to fight no matter what?
Yeah. You will always have to fight them.
Are there any others that you always have to fight?
We're also going to have Aghanim 2.
Oh, right, yeah.
We didn't have to do Aga 1. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh! Well done, well done. That was much better than your
That
first
was not... That was I got very lucky. I will admit that straight up. That was not skill. I was certain that wasn't going to work.
So the starter says, unless you can hover.
Yes, unless you can hover. If you can hover, you can skip Moldorm too, but that's not. There we go.
Now that's right.
See, some of that practice paid off. We didn't have to go into pod. Oh no, I just realized. I practiced so many things in pod.
Oh, that's right.
It wasn't required.
Well, I mean, that's just how it goes.
I spent a good hour practicing things in pod I didn't already know how to do.
And I mean, now just be grateful you don't have to. That was an hour of your life that you know,
Never
you
get
didn't
back.
even use on that. So now we're for sure coming up to the end here.
Yeah, so we don't have to check any of these chests.
Nope.
Chad is going to insist that I check validation chests, so I will.
So what would you like to see in validation chest? What would be the trolliest thing right now for validation?
Trolly. I don't think there's anything trolly at this point. We've had a pretty nice straightforward seed here. Except for Desert. Desert Palace was a bit of a pain in the butt, but
Is it possible to get silvers in validation chests?
yes. Ooh, so I accidentally poked him, which is why he started running all fast. Pokes do less damage, but we still killed him. And we'll see what our validation item is. Just the compass
Just
for the
compass.
tower.
Okay.
Nothing.
I was hoping for a single green rupee, but
Oh.
you know.
And so we call that one validation chest. So the origin of calling it validation chest was kind of that if you're doing a rando run and there was an item that was really trolling you that you were hoping to find, but maybe it turned out to not be required. Like Fire Rod is a great example. If you have a seat where Fire Rod isn't required, but you still kind of want it the whole time because having to use Torch instead of Fire Rod is a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
Finding it invalidation chest kind of gives you, it's sort of like, it gives you validation that you weren't going to find that item anywhere else. It's kind of like, oh, don't worry, you're not going crazy. It was actually just in the very last chest of the game.
It wasn't not in the game entirely. It was literally just
Yeah, it was just in the very last chest you will check before finishing.
We're still missing quite a bit from that item tracker, right?
Yeah. Now we do have, what did we get in that bottle? We picked up a red
had-
potion, I believe?
Yes.
Okay.
One red potion.
That might come in handy.
You've got half magic though, so I think you're in a good spot.
Because we're now in the final boss.
You have 32 silvers.
Yeah.
I am confident that you will not miss Ganon.
We only
32 times.
we only need 4. He likes to spout fun facts before you kill
Really?
him.
I've noticed. I've noticed.
Oh, this
what
is
was
a-
your favorite fun fact?
Uh-oh. See, I told you we would need it. That
Incredibly,
went really badly.
this incredibly difficult fight. That should probably let you concentrate on.
This is the easier part of the fight, but I completely messed up. I don't know why the sword didn't charge me. Oh, perfect. He went right back to the same spot. So we can get like a lot of sword spins in on him here. We're gonna try to. No, please don't kill me. Okay. Okay, fine. It's fine, Ganon. I understand. You don't want me to hit you. This is the worst part of the fight. These things are very annoying. They do a lot of damage, and if you can't get them through this phase fast enough, it's just you're gambling with your life.
Yeah.
Hopefully there should only be like one. Oh, not even one more. We're good. We're good. The rest of the fight is much easier. Even with my only 5 hearts left. What are these? So the teleports are also randomized, so that was very neat. If you could teleport less, that would be great. Oh my gosh. This is the worst
What is
teleport
this?
pattern I've ever seen.
What is going on?
Twice in a row.
So version 28 means that there's 28 warps.
Okay, so for the record, I'm just going to say, I think we have to blame Fleck for this one. I'm not letting you generate a seed for me ever again. What?
All
Every
the
time.
trolling right at the end.
Sometimes he only teleports once. What?
Does it?
Did you set this manually? I don't understand.
I don't know.
So if I light this torch before the other one goes out, which I did, the right torch will never go out.
And
so
he misses one of his attacks, eh? That's a thing.
Sorry.
It's a thing that he misses one of his attacks, or he
Nope.
stops one of his animations, or something like that.
No. And he's dead. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my god, the teleporting.
GG. Oh.
No, wait, no, it doesn't stop until I go through the door. No
Oh,
cheating.
sorry.
No cheating. Oh,
Aw, damn it. Well, it was gonna be sub 2 anyway.
dang it, Dave.
Sorry. I got
That's why I
excited.
pressed the button.
They said seven. Anyways.
That was 149. Everybody saw it. Good job. Good
I
job.
think it was 149, right?
Give it up for iBazly for doing the speed run. Any parting words for aspiring speedrunners behind you right now? You got a
my
crowd,
goodness.
by the way.
Hi, everyone. Good luck to everyone else who's running. Yeah, and thank you guys for having me here.
Okay, so if you guys want to follow iBazly, his Twitch is over there. Feel free to just join him. Do you have a schedule you want to tell them
Oh,
about?
gosh. It changes every week, so it's on my channel.
All right, thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. So I just wanted to point out before we move to the next run that this is a really cool thing, and I'm a big fan of it. And thank you so much, Bazly, for coming and showing this off. If you want to try out the randomizer yourself, we're just trying to put the... Okay. Yeah, we're trying to put the text up for the randomizer website. If you want to try this out yourself, the website for it is VT, like Vitreous Tom, I don't know, vt.alttp.run. We can't seem to get it up on the... Oh, there it is. Yeah, in the bottom left corner there. vt.alttp.run. So it's a web-based thing. You can go there and check out all the information about it and join the community, and it's really super fun, and I highly encourage it.
Alright, up next, we have another Legend of Zelda coming. We have, Alright, we got Ocarina of Time coming up next. Where's Glitchy?
As far as audio is concerned, you shouldn't have to do anything. Just use the same individual meter.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's fine.
Something I realized about our setup, the stream is still controlled by these. So you need to keep that in mind. These ones control yes, I did. It's the only thing that is.
Just the stream. Yeah. Okay, yeah, like the aux for the...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, no,
I'm leaving everything. I'm forgetting everything.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a good run. Thank you. Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Thank you.
Stuck on something.
You wanted to take the button.
yeah, I wanted to...
Okay, here's yours.
Okay, yeah, you want to read my...
There's already an AV cable connected, so let's just put that to the side. I do need the power.
Sorry about that. It's a little.
Hey, what's up? Are you playing anything?
No, I'm not. There we go.
Yeah.
I actually was wondering, are you running setups here?
For which games?
Like on PS4.
Yeah, so there's some monitors there, but tomorrow we're gonna run tournaments.
Okay. Did you? I would ask you for a favor if possible.
What is it?
I forgot my PlayStation power cords. Is there one I can borrow for 2 hours?
For 2 hours. Right now?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Roughly like 2 hours.
How do you mod someone again? It's /mod.
I just want to quickly look at it. It's
So just make sure you're good with the sound and everything. You heard the game audio fine?
I can hear. Is this supposed to be through headphones?
Yeah.
I can hear it. Is it played through Amorec or no?
Which one?
Is it the game being played through Amorec by chance?
Not that I know.
All right. I was just looking at reference quickly. Yep.
Ask
All right. Darkmaster, is that no? Sorry.
Glitchy's got a question for you.
What do you run the? Like you use Amorec or something similar?
Oh, for capturing?
Yeah.
No, I think we're just going to...
We just do a standard capture.
Okay.
Just straight in OBS, yeah.
All right. Can I just look over one thing quickly? Or,
What about Draco? Oh, turn off the Draco. There should be a logo behind it.
We don't need it anymore. Okay, we don't need that.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. No, yeah, now it works. What did you do?
This is what selects your source. So this is additional sources that you can select there.
Sources going to main?
Going to the website.
Okay.
It seems okay. My voice is a little loud, but it's fine. Oh, okay. It seems okay. My voice is a little loud, but it's fine. Oh, okay. Better. It seems okay. My voice is a little loud, but it's fine. All right. Okay. Better. It's a little. How can I turn the? All right. Better. All right. How do I turn the game volume down? It's a. How can I turn the? All right. All right. How do I turn the game volume down? It's a. How can I turn the? All right. All right. How do I turn the game volume down? It's a. This is fine. Actually,
Okay,
can you
okay.
just do it like a titch more? Because it was kind of screeching earlier. Actually,
Okay,
can you
okay.
just do it like a titch more?
Test,
Because it was
test.
kind of screeching earlier. Actually, can you just do it like a titch more?
Test,
Because it was
test.
kind of screeching earlier.
Lucia, you're a little on the right side. You want to get in the middle of the TV?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're in the middle.
Okay, we're about to start Glitchimon's Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Hype it up, hype it up. We got another Zelda game after this, so thank you for tuning into our Zelda block. Glitchimon, the mic is on you.
All right. So when do I?
Whenever you're ready,
So do we have
all you
any?
have to do is just press this button. This is your time.
Do we have any incentives we could do?
No incentives.
All right.
Really set up an incentive.
All right. That's
Are we
fine.
ready for time? Alright, so whenever you're ready, press start, enter, whatever.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So Ocarina of Time is a Zelda game, obviously, but obviously something's a little different. I'm playing on the Japanese version. The reason I'm doing that is because the text is significantly faster. It's significantly faster than playing on English. And for reference, if you do 100% speedrun this game, it is around 20 minutes faster. But for this category, I would say it's around 5 or 6 minutes. But the way this game is programmed, it allows us to do a lot of individual routing. It allows us to go around the game in the way and order we really choose. Like, we don't have to do anything linearly. We can do any dungeon, almost any order we want, almost. There's a few exceptions, but generally we can do basically on dungeons, like we can do dungeons in complete reverse order. We can do Gan's Castle, then Spirit, Shadow, Water, Fire, and do reverse. Like, it's very, very broken. And also, I'm playing on the 1.0 version of the game, which allows for a few more glitches than the 1.2 release. And those glitches I will show along the way, but they're pretty important and they save a significant amount of time as playing on Virtual Console. And N64 loses a little bit of time to lag and loading, but it comes out on top because of those few first exclusive glitches. But generally, the gist of this run, this is all dungeons. The goal of the category is to basically complete all the dungeons. Like, the goal of the category is to beat every single dungeon by stepping into the blue warp with whatever method you can. So as long as you get each medallion by going into the blue warp, it counts as a dungeon. And I will be doing a lot of hessing, which is hyperextended super slides, and a lot of crazy movement tricks, a lot of wrong warping, quite a bit of RBA, to go as fast as possible. I named myself one character because it saves about 7 frames over a unique character name per time that my name is displayed. So the first order's business is to get 25 rupees. With whatever method I can do. And I generally use the fastest method I possibly can to get those rupees. And right now, the only reason I'm going to need these rupees is because I need to buy deck of nuts and 1 stick. That is all I need to get out of the forest. When I say get out of the forest, I don't mean to beat the deck of trees. I mean get out of the forest as in I'm leaving the forest before I beat the Deku Tree because that is faster than waiting around for centuries. All right. So I'm going to need about 20 rupees before I get to Kakariko so I can buy the Hylian Shield. Since Hylian Shield is important. So, as I'm going to Lost Woods, this is not a normal path to take to the Deku Tree, obviously. There's no Deku Tree in Lost Woods. So what I'm going... Oh, boy. Alright, I gotta try this a few times. Alright, got it. So basically there's a trick I can do there of where I go. Excuse me one moment. So right now, what I did was there is a small little acute angle inside that slab in the Lost Woods of where you can jump slash and clip into there. It's a 1-frame window to decide up and jump slash. And what I'm doing is going down Zora's River so I can get to Kakariko Village faster. And notice how I have no shield or sword. And I don't need them. You do not have to have shield or sword to get to adult Link as child Link.
Turn it down.
All right. So basically, what I need to do in order to do this is I have to collect every single bottle. I have to collect every single Kako to get the bottle, since the bottle is the most important item in the game. It's a very important item, as it allows for a lot of tricks to actually happen during the run, and a lot of them wouldn't be possible without it. This run, in fact, might not be possible without it. Or if it is, it'd be a lot longer. A lot longer. But the general goal of Kako collecting is to get them in the pen as soon as possible. And getting them as quickly in there as I can. So I make sure they're in a bunch so I can grab them quickly. I don't have to move around as much to get them. But then again, the Cuggles can either give you good RNG or bad RNG. The good RNG is where they're in a nice bunch and you can grab them quickly. The bad RNG is when they're really spread out. Fortunately, they weren't pretty spread out. They were pretty much average this time. And since that was quick enough, I can get the bottle. And I need to go to the bottom of the well to do something. Just saying. And I just did Navi dive, and what that basically does, it allows me to dive through the wire using Navi after jump slashing. So it allows me to get to the bottom of the well early. Now I'm going to do blank A, and I think it's self-explanatory. Okay, I failed it. Okay, I gotta line this up. Okay, I didn't fail it. Alright, if you have a bad angle, you have to YOLO that, and I got it, so that's good. So there's a small little thing in the ceiling of where you can clip upwards. But that's not important. So what I just did, in general, the trick I just did was called blank A. And the way it works is you interrupt your entering of a crawl space by throwing a Deku Nut while holding like a sword or a stick. And it gives you the properties of the game thinking you're still in the crawl space. So it gives you the same mechanics and movement. So that's why I was kind of backwalking in the air instead of falling. And what that allows you to do is allows you to clip through certain spots that wouldn't normally be possible. And it just so happens that that spot allows me to get to the basement of the bottom of the well really quickly with a side hop. And then I'm able to float to the top using the unloaded water. And then get to the bomb chew chest, which is extremely, extremely useful and absolutely vital. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get on top of the bridge. And there's a strange philosophy that OT goes by. If you don't see it, it doesn't exist. That goes for the drawbridge. And the reason why I popped up in the drawbridge is because the drawbridge wasn't actually loaded. Like, because I was looking away from the drawbridge, it wasn't loaded. So as soon as I let go of target, it properly loaded it. And this trick is kind of precise, so it may take a few tries. Alright, so I gotta try a few times. Alright, got it. So there's a precise jump you can do to get in the shop during the nighttime, because normally you would have to be day. And now I'm going to go to Temple of Time because I believe I clearly beaten all three. I clearly have all three spiritual stones. Like, I've completely, obviously, gone to all the other dungeons in under 12 minutes. Clearly, like, I totally have them in my inventory. I actually don't, though. I have no spiritual stones, but I'm gonna get past here. There's a little small opening in Door of Time that allows you to clip through. May take a few tries. One more. Okay, this is going to take a few tries. Oh. Sometimes it just doesn't work. All right, this is going to take a few tries. All right. Oh, boy. So what happened there was I got a bad position. I got bad position from the Door of Time. That sometimes happens if your side up is kind of bad, which is kind of unfortunate, but it happens. All right, so I got it. But generally, there's a small oddity that does happen if you backflip at the wrong time, and it's kind of hard to pinpoint. Sometimes you'll just not be able to target the door. So basically what I did there, in order to make that work... Oh, by the way, I got the Master Sword, no big deal. So what I did there was I had to get a specific angle, side hop and side roll into the corner, and untarget on the side hop. Like I had to let go of target during the side hop, and then pause on a specific frame to target, and then hold left a few frames later. And that allows me to skip the door of time without a sword. But miraculously, I was able to get through the door of time without a sword or shield and barely any items. Of course, since this is all dungeons, I'm going to have to get the other 3 spiritual stones, but I'm not going to be doing them as Child Link. That what makes the run interesting. You're going to be doing basically all the dungeons as Adult Link. And there's a trick that was actually found recently that allows you to complete all of them. But before that, you can only do all but one. But I'm going to leave that till later. And doing child dungeons as Adult Link makes the game extremely broken. And this is a 6-minute long cutscene, or around 6 minutes, but it's a little bit longer in English, which is why I run Japanese. So I don't really think I would want the majority of the run to be cutscenes, but generally, this run, and this category is very non-stop. Like, it just keeps going. There's pretty much very little downtime. Unlike something like MST or 100%, where there's quite a bit of downtime, but this is just go, 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 go. Because after this point, it's mostly just trick after trick after trick. And I got to nail all of them. Generally, as I got the Master Sword, you notice I do have Hylian Shield on Link's back. Normally, if you don't have the Hylian Shield, he doesn't put it on there. But if you do have it, it automatically puts it on Link's back, which does save a pause in going to the graveyard to get it, which is why I get it as Child Link. But if I didn't have it, a few Hesses wouldn't be possible, which save a roughly 30 seconds. So getting a Child Link is a lot more worth it. Also, I may also note that I don't have any bombs. I don't have any. I don't have the slingshot. I don't really have any items that you would normally need to actually beat the first dungeon as Adult Link. But I'm gonna have to change that. I'm gonna have to take a few trips around before I even complete Forest Temple. We have to take a few side trips to different dungeons. But Ironically Forest is one of the last few dungeons because it's really, there's nothing we really need there that would really benefit the run, so we just do it when it's convenient. Since we don't actually need the bow in the run. The bow is useful for switches, but that's about it. And even if it is, we could do a certain trick to hit it without the bow. I won't say now, I'll say it later. Alright, gotta try it again. Alright. Alright, third try. So I got a Hess off that sign, which saves quite a bit of time if you can do it. And a Hess is a hyper-extended super slide if I didn't explain it properly. But allows you to get extremely fast speeds while getting damage off a bomb or a chew. And it's kind of precise, but it's not really that precise. What I'm going to do here is get a ball on my B button, since I need it. Okay, got it. All right. So I just got bugs on my B button. It's nothing out of the ordinary. And what bugs on my B button allow me to do is allows me to modify the inventory in the game. And the way that tricks works is basically the game thinks I have a sword in my hand. So the way the trick works in process is I have a ball in hand while I take damage, and on a specific frame of the if I press B on a specific damage frame while I have the ball in hand, the game will think I still have a sword in my hand when I have a bottle. So if I press some buttons, certain buttons, it'll allow me to swipe over my sword. It'll make the game think that the bottle is on my B button, so it allows me to catch bugs on my B button. That's going to allow me to get a few items. RBA isn't really extensively used too much in the run. In my opinion, it's not really used. It's only used now, but it's essential in order to keep the run at a decent pace. So I'm just going to get the hook shot here, since that's one of the few items you do need. Well, you don't need it right now, but like it would save a lot of time if you did. Because in low percentile dungeons, you might not need it, but you do now. And low percent is a whole nother can of worms, so I'm not going to touch that. Even if it is a good category. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill this Poe. If I could possibly, since he's never done that, if I can catch him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop and catch my bugs and watch my chew count. Like, look at my chew count. It's 3, now it's 20. And now it's 29. And what that does is it modifies my chew count with having pull and C right. I'm going to explain that a bit. Oh, well, I'm going to explain that better later. One more. All right. All right, that was kind of weird. Since I've never had that happen before. But I have to focus during this trick. All right, there we go. So what that trick is, it's a hookshot jump, and there's a specific, like, if you mash hookshot after bonking, it puts you in this weird state of where, like, it constantly pulls out and re-pulls out the hookshot. I'm just gonna drink that Po since I don't need it. It puts you in a state where you're pulling out and putting away the hook shot. By the way, I'm in Shadow Temple early. It puts you in a state of where you have like this weird state where the hook shot is out and in, and on a specific frame, if you press hook shot, it allows you to launch really high, and that allows me to get in the unloaded area. Allows me to get the unloaded area outside Graveyard, and allows me to side up into the unloaded area of Shadow and get me in there. So sometimes Dead Hand, sometimes Dead Hand can have kind of a bad position. So if he has a bad position, the hands will get you. So I got to hover boots early, and that's pretty important for the rest of the run. Hover boots and bottle allow me to do a lot of tricks that aren't normally possible. And also, if I couldn't unload the entrance to Shadow Temple, I would need to inspire. So that's why that trick is absolutely essential. So what this trick is, it's called Boat Skip, which allows you to skip riding the boat in Shadow Temple. And it's extremely important that I get it. It saves about 3 minutes in the entire run. So I'm going to save here. And I'm going to explain everything after, I swear. Because this trick is really hard. All right. So I do that entire sub just to get out of bounds, since that's important to do. No big deal. I'm just falling out of bounds. I need this trick. All right. This is really precise. Okay, got it. There we go. All right, I'm just gonna equip bugs. All right, so I'm in the unloaded room before. I'm in the unload room before Bongo. Bongo. And I gotta do another trick. Okay. That's not good. You're not supposed to fail that. Okay, so I guess my positioning was kind of bad. So I gotta try that again. One more. Okay, got it. Oh, that's not good. I apologize. But this trick isn't making too much sense right now. I've never had this happen. Okay. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. So that is a very difficult trick, and it's kind of hard to pause buffer in that room. So what I was doing, if I haven't explained pause buffering before, is I have to advance the game 1 frame at a time. I have to advance the game 1 frame at a time by pausing, and if I go a frame over for any of those tricks, I lose about 4 minutes. So I have to be very, very careful in doing that. I was very lucky that worked too. So I gotta fight Bongo Bongo. Alright. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get ISG, and I'm gonna catch my bugs so I don't have to do it after the fight. And kill Bongo. But pause buffering is extremely crucial that I get every single trick for boat skip. Like, boat skip is just a multitude of tricks and a lot of pause buffering and just making sure you get it. Because I'd be very upset if I failed that. Well, I wouldn't be upset, but it'd be unfortunate. So you gotta make sure I get it. Alright. So I'm gonna skip the shadow cutscene. Oh no! I died. It's over, dude. This run's totally over. I died. Game over. Oh, I hope I don't mess anything up. Oh. Okay, I think I'll manage. I think the run will live somehow. A game over won't hurt me, right? Fortunately, I lost no time for that game over because that was a cutscene skip. And the way that works is by having bugs in hand and staying on the edge of the blue warp. I can interrupt the cutscene where it takes you up and move during that cutscene where it takes you up. And if I, by chance, die on the same frame that's supposed to take you into the cutscene, it allows me to skip the cutscene. And if it shows a white flash before entering Shadow Temple, that's the way you know it worked. And the way that works is that there's an internal timer that starts once you touch the blue warp, and once it hits a certain point, then the cutscene starts. But if you interrupt that with death, that allows you to skip the cutscene. So as long as it matches that internal number that says, hey, take me up into the cutscene, then the trick will work. If you're late or early, then if you're late, then the cutscene will start. If you're early, then you'll go to the beginning of Shadow Temple without having the medallion. So fortunately, I did get Shadow Medallions. That's one dungeon down out of... Can someone help me with math? I need help. Let me think. I think 6 more dungeons, I believe. All right, so I did another Hess to get into here more quickly, but this is Dodongo's Cavern, which is a child section dungeon, which you're supposed to do as child, but I'm doing it as adult Link. And there's a specific reason why I got that fairy. I just want to put that out there. So I'm on pretty low health. This isn't good. This isn't good. I'm kind of low health. I might actually die. That wouldn't be good. All right, so I gotta realign myself a little bit. All right, so that was kind of the wrong spot. So you gotta be careful. There's a little splotch on the ground that you look for. And sometimes it can be hard to tell what it actually looks like due to the way the monitor is presented. Okay, this is it. All right, so what just happened there is if you press the if you hookshot a ladder at the same time you die, then you go up really fast. And because I had a fairy, I can stay up here instead of dying. Allows me to get bombs early. And also that trick is, again, frame perfect. You have to make sure to get the right frame there. Oh, so this room is kind of laggy, so it's better to backwalk there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another Chew Hess to get up here faster. All right. Just a little bit faster. No big deal. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a ground clip, which allows me to clip into the ground to get through a wall. All right, so I got to try again. So sometimes if you backflip a little bit early, that might fail, but my angle is kind of bad. So here's the backup. If you do a mega flip or a mega side up at a wall, then it allows you to clip through that wall and go under, which is why it's called a ground clip. And the angle's kind of precise, so it doesn't always work, so that's usually a more consistent option, which I just did. So now I'm going to... So the Bolero cutscene triggers right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip it. One, two, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so I guess my angle was kind of bad. That's unfortunate. But normally what would happen here is you would fall off into the lava at the same time as you start the cutscene. So just gotta watch this beautiful cutscene. And then jump in the lava straight after. So no big deal, just gotta jump in the lava. There we go. Run is saved. So I'm just gonna grab it. I'm gonna grab a heart here because I have to take a lot of damage coming up. I'm going to see if I can get a free bomb drop from these grass, because it's likely you can get it. And the only reason I'm going in this row is to get a bald fish instead of bugs. And by the way, 29 is the value of bugs, 25 is the value of fish, which is why I got 29 shoes earlier. Just throwing that out there. We're going to do another Hess here to save a little bit of time. And this is a ground jump. If you grab and shield a bomb before it explodes, then it gives you this weird state where you can't press any C buttons and you can do a funny little backflip. You do a little funny little jump when you backflip and allows you to get to high places. Nani? Alright, that's kind of unfortunate. Alright, so I gotta try that again. In another episode of This Has Never Happened Before, starring Ocarina of Time. Stay tuned for next week, where I discover Super Mario Bros. 3 and an accident with Ocarina of Time ACE within the game. Totally. Alright, so it's going to be faster to skip the cutscene, in my opinion. But generally, if you generally you have a very specific amount of damage you need. You have a very specific amount of damage you can afford to have here. So if your health is not correct, then it can completely mess up the trick. All right, there we go. And if I'm going to go right under the minuet trigger. And I just got minuet. That's all I needed. So I'm going to get a few more bomb drops here. I need that health, otherwise I was going to die. Although I do need one bomb drop. Hopefully today. Because there's a high chance this grass can drop bomb drops. And I got really lucky today. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a super slide to get to Deku Tree a little bit early. All right. And it requires a pretty darn precise angle, so I'm glad I got it. All right. So I'm in an unloaded Deku Tree area, and what this basically means is I can enter the Deku Tree without talking to him. But normally the Deku Tree is closed as adult, but if you unload the area, you can just walk right in because the loading zone's still there. So I'm going to take a little damage from this Deku Baba because I'm going to have to die again, unfortunately. Talk to Navi. Special duty of the day. So it turns out I backflipped a little bit late there. So that's a really, really, really precise. That's a very precise mega flip that you can only afford to backflip for 1 frame on. So just gotta try that again. Did I mention this category is extremely difficult? But it's entertaining. Probably didn't, but I should have. Okay, there we go. There we go. So I got... So what I did was another ground clip, and this puts me out of bounds of the Deku Tree. It makes me fall into the Deku Tree boss room. And this is where the first boss is. What do you know? This is where Goma is, but I don't have Slingshot to kill her, so I'm going to have to use Deku Nuts, which actually do work on Goma. Be quite ironic if Deku Nuts didn't actually work on Goma, because that would make the run a little bit more tricky. Just a little. Alright, Goma's dead. You have a couple of frames to throw the next Deku Nut after you stun her first, but the thing that happens is if you miss that that couple frame window to throw it, then unfortunately Goma will run away and crawl back, and it'll mess up your position for the wrong warp. Oh, I shouldn't have mentioned there's a wrong warp. Spoilers. Alright, so I got fish trolled. That's kind of unfortunate. So that happens sometimes that sometimes happens where the fish kind of flops out of your way. There's not really a lot you can do if that happens, except bite the bullet. And it's pretty much RNG if that happens. Alright, so I got the second time. All right. So what I did was on a specific frame, I backflip. So I'm going to die on a specific frame after I activate the blue warp. Since that same timer from similar to Shadow cutscene skip, it's still ticking up. And I died on a specific frame, so that takes me to Dodongo's Cavern again. So I skipped the Decker Tree cutscene, which is very, very convenient if you can actually manage to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to beat the boss this time. And what I have to do is I have to activate Navi on the same frame that I touch the switch. And that allows me to get in there without pushing the block. So I'm just gonna get this bomb chest since I do need bombs. Whoops. I'm just gonna equip hookshot here since I am gonna need it for this upcoming setup. But the reason why I warped to a completely different, if I didn't explain that properly, the way that works is that Decker Tree, Dodongo's Cavern, Jabu Jabu, and Fire Temple have unique properties in their blue warps of where they don't take you directly to the Chamber of Sages. And because they don't take you directly there, it allows you basically... it allows you to get to different locations you're not supposed to. So if since I died in Deku Tree, I warped to Dodongo's Cavern, and I'm gonna warp somewhere else since I die in here, which would be interesting in itself. So I'm gonna do a similar setup to Deku Tree, but it's a little funny. Well, it looks funny in my opinion. Alright, I didn't get it. Alright, so I gotta try that again. Because there's a specific window of which you have to backflip with the bomb, and if you don't get it, you just have to try again, and I saved, so that's good. At least I hope I saved. Yes, I did. So I gotta try. So I gotta get this guy over here again. Or get one of them over here. This is actually hard because it is kind of one frame. But if that happens, that's second frame. But I think if this does happen too much, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a fish. Okay, I got it. That's good. But yeah, this trick is pretty hard because you have about one frame to actually do it. So Fun fact, this lava is still loaded when you enter. Just a little fun fact. So I'm gonna have to do like a step to get back into the position where I'm supposed to. No big deal. Assuming I don't get fish trolled again. Also, this room is very, very laggy, so it's hard to pause buffer. All right, got it. So I'm gonna do another cutscene. Since this is another cutscene skip and it just happens to be in Dodongo's Cavern, I'm gonna warp somewhere special. There we go. Guru Training Grounds. Home sweet home. And I got caught. That's not good. Imagine going into a completely fortified layout and then just finding some guy just wrong warped in. Like, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool concept. So I got caught immediately put in jail. But there's a small little spot I can do to clip up on top of the jail and get on top of here, where there's a purple rupee chest, but that's not important. So what I just did was I just skipped the sequence of where you have to get the gate to open and get the Gerudo card. So I went around the gate and onto the outside loading zone, and I just got to the desert early without needing to get the guards or free the carpenters. So what I'm doing is a massive Hess, and it's extremely hard, and I hope I get it. Okay, so I failed that. That's unfortunate. That little corner is really, really hard to get first try. All right, so I got it. There's a very, very, very small window of where you can pass through that area, because basically there's a small area of where I voided, of where basically it's an all void zone. So like if you're in a certain spot, a little too far, a little too close to the left or right, you'll void, and you'll get to the beginning. Also, those levers can interrupt your super slide, so that's not a good thing. Nani? So there's a toucan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a hover to the top of Spirit Temple. And it's not easy. Okay. It's not gonna work. Okay, so I gotta do a backup here. So just in case this Hess fails, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enter here, so that if I do actually happen to fall, what I can do is I can respawn back up here. Okay, that's unfortunate. Fortunately, I can die quickly. So basically what happens there is if your Hess is slightly off, then you're going to miss the platform. And that's why getting a Hess there is unreliable. But if you're low on chew, if you're low on bombs, then you really don't have a choice a lot of time. And if I actually took that, it'd be really bad. All right, got it. So I'm kind of low on chews right now, so I'm gonna have to use them sparingly, I think. So now I got the mirror shield. After that really long hover. All right, so I have one chew for Water Temple hover. Which isn't good. Or I have no chews, I think. So what I'm trying to gather from these armors is I'm trying to get some bomb drops. Did I soft lock? No, I didn't. So I used up all my bombs, so I'm obviously gonna need to get bomb drops here. But since I'm getting kind of bad luck, I'm gonna have to go at him again. All right. So I just got pretty good bomb luck. So since I'm not going to get the boss key, since that's really slow, and I don't have Zelda's Lullaby, I'm going to have to do another trick to get the boss key. It's not going to be easy, but I'm going to have to. So I'm clipping inside this wall right here, and I'm not in bounds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do super slide here. One more. I'm going to do a super slide, like out of bounds here. No big deal. One more. All right, so I got the super slide, I think. Why is this so hard to advance frames? There you go. All right, so I got the BK skip, which is pretty important. So basically what I did was I did a super slide to get out of bounds and a super slide to the loading zone since it's pretty high up. And it requires a pretty precise super slide and decent movement to get to it. That is all good. So I'm gonna have to kill her quickly. Her? Oh, spoilers. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, so I got the cutscene skip. So what happened there is I killed it at the same time I voided out of bounds, and that skips a cutscene afterward of where you watch the armor fall apart and her transform, then her get sucked away into the darkness. That's Nibiru, by the way. So I guess there was a need for a spoiler. And also, if you press fish while you're falling, then the battle music persists for some reason. It's kind of like for style points. Alright, so there's not really much to say at this point. The general section between Minuet up to here, so Minuet to Deku to DC to Spirit Hover and to here is pretty difficult, but the difficulty's gotta go down for a bit. That's gotta go right back up. So there's more frame perfect stuff. So this fight is complete RNG. I have to very much hope that they go in the right spot for the most part. And what I can do is I can spam the hook shot on the moving one. It allows them to stay in place and be able to hit them more consistently. Also, that's a double. That's pretty rare. She stayed still. Sometimes Trinrova does what people call a double or a double. And basically what happens is the witch who doesn't shoot like stays in put. Like the witch who originally shoots stays in put to shoot again, and it's really, really fast. Saves quite a bit of time. That's what's called a double. Also, their hitbox is really tiny. So that's phase one. Because the thing that can sometimes happen is they can just, the witch you're supposed to hit, they just spin around behind you, above you, like they don't get into view, so you can't hit them sometimes. And it really sucks when that happens. And there's almost nothing you could do sometimes. But a lot of time it's not that bad, but if you're on world record pace, then it's kind of disappointing. Alright, so she's gone. Those those slashers are kind of precise, so if you miss 2 of them, then we're going to go back for another cycle. In OT 3D, however, it doesn't matter how quickly you hit her, that She just gets back up after a certain amount of hits, which is unfortunately not cool. So the funny thing about these characters, or whatever they are, is that their hitbox is actually above the stage right after the fight. So you can use a if you're using Game Shark, you can levitate up to the top, the direct center, like right up to where they are, and you will fall down like you'll get damaged and fall down. Like, I'm not even joking. And there's another oddity, but I'll explain it afterwards, because this is important. Or not. Well then. I don't know what I did, but that's unfortunate. So the thing that can sometimes happen if your up input isn't like straight up, sometimes if they have like a back control stick, then it might be slightly to the right or left. And sometimes, like, instead of going onto the edge of that cutscene, you'll just fall in. It's not a big deal if I watch this cutscene either. It just saves like a minute. Cutscene saves around 1:20. But right after this temple is Forest Temple, and unlike this cutscene skip, that one is necessary. Fail that, you gotta reset. Because if you fail it, you lose 4 minutes. Because that is such a long cutscene, because you got the you got Chamber of Sages, then the Deku Tree Sprout cutscene, where he's just explaining your story, his life story. But you don't want to listen to that, you just want to go fast. So since I'm low in damage, that's kind of convenient because I can go straight to Forest Temple. Since I don't have an ocarina, I have to play ocarina items. I probably didn't even explain how this even works since it's kind of muscle memory. But if you backflip and press a cutscene item, then a sword or hook shot or bomb or anything, then it auto plays like an ocarina and you can play songs with that. So instead of getting an ocarina, I just use bottle. Or a fish in a bottle. That takes up all my ocarina needs. Also, if you get on top of there, you fall through. Just saying. So, I'm finally in Forest Temple, but this is probably the shortest temple I'm in, aside from Deku Tree, of course, since Deku Tree isn't a temple but a dungeon. And I'm going to go straight to the boss, since I don't need any items in here. I don't need any Skulltulas, any heart containers. Fortunately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the side of this railing and flip through the floor, and then back walk, hold down, and I'm in the boss room. Very simple trick. Because the boss room is really, really close. The boss room is extremely close to like the main room, so if you can get under that point, you can just jump in. Also, here's Ganondorf, final boss. Not really. Fortunately, I will not be having to do the tennis portion, because tennis with Ganondorf Phantom Ganon is kind of slow and inconsistent, and since I'm at half a heart, I can't really risk that. I can't risk playing tennis of him in case he decides to make the ball really fast. So since I don't have the bow, I'm going to have to use the hook shot to hit him through the painting. If I was Child Link, I'd have to use the slingshot because that's the same effect as the bow, roughly. So the way that just worked is I stun locked Ganon by spamming hookshot. So what I did during the fight is I got ISG, and what that does is obviously it's infinite sword glitch. It allows me to hit as many times as I want, and I just hit. Basically, if you slash Ganon, then you can stun lock. Well, you don't stun lock. You can stun lock with the hookshot. But if you keep just slashing, then he'll eventually get up. But if you spam hookshot while you're still slashing, then he'll stay down. And you can get all your hits in. Which is pretty convenient. That's not going to work. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a backup here. If that's okay. Hope that's permissible. This is a non-initial position setup. So this cutscene skip is pretty precise. Alright, so I got it. I got the first part. Alright, so I got it. Oh no, I died again. It's over, dude. It runs over like it's in, pack it in. Game over. You know the usual. Alright, so I got the cutscene skip, so that's pretty good. So I did the same cutscene skip as I usually do to make that work. But it works slightly different than the other wrong warps. It works a little slightly different than the other wrong warps. Because I have to pull a bomb and then backflip at the same time. But the warp itself works the same as all the other temples, for the most part. So I'm going to Hess past Mido. And there's a small spot where I can clip through here as adult. So I'm going to do that right now. Hopefully. But it's kind of hard to get in the precise position. Since, like, you have to be on the very edge here. Alright, so I'm going to do a backup here. If I can get up. Since I can Navi dive. Alright. So my next place is I'm supposed to go as Water Temple. And it's pretty important that I get all the tricks in Water Temple too. Just saying. And I don't feel the backflip either. Because if you have a slightly bad camera angle, then instead of backwalking, what you're going to do is you're going to do like a side roll movement. Although if you have too bad of an angle, then you're just going to fall. One more frame. Although there's a little small spot in that waterfall you can go into, because normally you have to play ZL to get past the waterfall, but in this case you don't. You can just backwalk into a specific spot with hover boots, or do a mega flip or a mega side up to make it work. So King Zora is right here. And I just unfroze him by pulling out a chicken. No big deal. Because the way that works is if you pull out a trade item and then look at King Zora after you pull it out, look away and then look back, he gets unfrozen. Don't ask me how, it just works. So notice how I got a timer. I mean, I got a speedrun timer going right now, but I got a timer. And it's pretty important that this timer works. This timer is going. It's pretty important. So I need to get a bomb drop from this grass really quickly. If I don't, I'm just gonna have to go. Alright. I don't need the bomb drop. So with a specific angle, I can back up into the house and then go out of bounds. And I just happen to be able to, like right beside Water Temple. And the way this works is I can swim under the land here just enough that I can see where I'm going, but not enough so that I pop back in bounds. Because if you pop back in bounds, he runs over. Okay, got it. And Water Temple's loading zone is right here, so you can just go above the loading zone and it works. Because loading zones, I'm pretty sure, go infinitely up, so that's why you can get there without diving. Okay. That might not work. Okay. So the reason I have the timer on in the first place is so I can skip the upcoming cutscene after beating the boss. And I have a limited amount of time that I can use to get here and do everything I need to do, get the bomb drops, like get the boss key skip. And about the boss key skip, that door has no collision on the top, so I can just jump slash through. I can jump slash through the top, which is pretty convenient on its own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delay the timer so I have more time to beat the boss by backflipping and pressing fish. That's not good. Because if I get bad RNG in this fight, then that's going to be bad. Okay, I got really bad RNG. That's not good. This isn't good. This isn't good. So I got really bad RNG in the fight, so I might not actually make this. Because there's no way I could actually reach the ball. Yeah, I'm not making this. I just soft locked, I think. That's not good. I caught the fish on the exact same frame that the timer expired, so where am I? That's not good. Well, that's not as bad as I thought. Actually, do I have... I don't have Force Medallion. Oh, boy. We might be going a little bit overestimate. You sure about that? So, since I soft locked, I'm going back to my last save point, so I'm going to do my best to... Okay, that's convenient. I beat the boss. All right. Got it. Gotta do the same trick as before. I'm pretty sure this is one more frame. I'm pretty sure. Yep. Oh! Oh no, I died again. It's over, dude. Oh no, I died? That's very odd. Okay, I've never had that happen before. Because this is the best backup that I know how to do. And sometimes for sometimes it can just fail for no reason, which is why I really opt to do the normal setup, like after you finish the fight, but if you have to do it, then you have to do it, or not. Majority of things have never happened before in my entirety of speedrunning, I swear. Including backflipping at that warp, that's a new one for me. I swear. Can confirm. Why? All right. I'll try once more. Two more frames, I think. One more frame. There you go. All right, I'm pretty sure this is a proper setup. Yeah. If it isn't, then I don't know what it is. All right, got it. That was very unfortunate. So I'm going to do the same things as I did before, but I'm going to try my best to do them a little bit faster. There we go. I mean, I'm even happy I got that BK skip with the amount of shoes I had. I'm gonna have to get it again. Yeah, so. So, Water Temple, but faster. And less bad RNG. And no soft locks. I will confirm that. So the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get a bomb drop here, and if I don't, then I'm not getting bombs. Because time is money. Well, it's not money in this game because you don't spend any rupees in this category except for High Lane Shield. But generally, but I have really not much to say at this point, but I'm going to say a lot of things after this Morpho fight, if it goes well. Got it. That's really difficult with bombs. I'm glad I got it. So generally, what I want Morpho to do is I want her to be like really close that I can hit her with the hook shot and not the long shot, because the game expects you to have the long shot at this point, so you can hit Morpho basically from anywhere in the stage. But I want her to be close enough that I can get at her without having to like move around the stage, because like the more I have to move around, the more time I waste, and the time is ticking. Alright, so this isn't too bad. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get Morpho in the corner. And stab her a few times, basically. All right, so I'm going to need this heart container since it's kind of important. All right, so I backflip on a specific frame of the timer. And what's going to happen is I'm going to be whisked away at the same time the cutscene starts. And I skipped the Water Temple medallion cutscene, and I got warped right back to where I want to be. All right, so this is the extremely, extremely difficult you can't fail a single thing section, or else your run's dead section. So hopefully I don't do anything wrong. So this is the second last dungeon I have to be in because I've been in Water, Forest, Shadow Spirit, Deku Tree, Dogno's Cavern. But Jabu's not here. How am I going to get in there? Please stay tuned. Or stay tuned. That might not work. That's bad. That's not good. Sometimes the trick can just fail for no reason. So if that happens, I do have to reset. It's probably honestly the hardest trick in the run. Wait, but a mercy kill?
Mercy kill? What's that mean? You wanna stop?
Well, it's not that I'm unsure of how overestimate this is going to go.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's okay. How long would it, how long?
Max.
Take off the headset. How long do you?
So fortunately, lax is about 4 minutes. So I have no choice since I'm low on choose. I do have to save warp in order to get my choose back. Because like technically, if I could technically just play Minuet to get my to be able to like try again, but like since my choose are so incredibly low and the tricks I'm doing are basically chew perfect, I basically cannot afford to waste any chews, and if I waste any chews, I have to reset. So, I mean, there's a main benefit of this. We may as well get light arrows. They're absolutely useless in this category, but I mean, since I'm here, may as well get them. Since I'm forced given to them automatically. No big deal.